Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark, episode number 66. Today, of course, is September 1st, 2021. We're finally coming in to the home run stretch of the year. Fall is about to begin, and things are going to get crazy with Frank Oz, Shang-Chi box office, and some Cassian Andor rumors. All of that and a whole hell of a lot more here tonight on Hollywood After Dark. Let's freaking go! Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the program tonight. It's definitely going to be one that we're going to be talking about for a while. There's a lot going on in Hollywood right now. There's a lot going on in the world, actually, which we'll get to here in a second. I just want to get the initial bits out of the way. First, we've got to definitely talk about the winner of the August giveaway. That is Howard the Duck 4K, and the winner is Shiny311. So, dude, hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram at Real Matt Jarbo on Instagram or at mjarbo on Twitter. Let me know. I will send you this fine 4K. Fantastic freaking movie. And of course, if you guys want to get in on this month's giveaway for September, is going to be Drunken Master 2, Jackie Chan, one of his best fight movies of all time. And to get in on that, all you got to do is become a member, drop a super chat, or become a patron. And speaking of you members, you glorious, sexy motherfuckers, we've got an ever-growing list of channel members here. You guys keep the channel afloat, bringing it to new heights all the time. I love you guys so much. You have no idea. Thank you all very much. And with that, that is my opening shilling out of the way. Just wanted to do it. Also want to toss a friendly reminder. Miss Minute says, drop the likes. Drop the likes, or she's going to drop you. That's how this works. It ain't a game, motherfucker. It ain't a game. Anyway, I just want to do all that. And of course, I am joined tonight by my friend, Resident Justice. RJ, how's it going, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. Got a new microphone, new setup, man. Doing good, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I totally forgot you got a new microphone. He sounds a lot more professional, folks.
Yeah, I know. I got a Blue Yeti. Now I'm actually like officially joined the streamer podcasting club.
And that's actually more true than not, to be fair. Like, I started off using my iPhone 3 back in 2012 when I was in LA. I would sit in my car and I would like yell into my phone like a boomer. I'd like a boomer mad at the world. And I would just yell into my phone. And then I ended up getting an iPad 3 for my 30th birthday. One I could not afford, but I decided to splurge because I was turning 30. And of course, in 6 months, I turned 40. So, then I would go down to my car in the carport in the middle of the night and like then rant into my iPad, and then I would just do all that stuff there. And then after that, I ended up, getting a blue snowball a couple of years later. Even when I had moved back home, I was still doing content from my phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody starts with the snowball, by the way, I noticed.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, like, I upgraded to the snowball. That's the thing is I moved back into my old room and I'm back there and I'm still having my iPhone. I think I got an iPhone 5 as I upgraded to the iPhone 5 in 2013. And so I upgraded to the 5, but I would still sit there and I would hold the phone like on speaker and I would record my audio. So I'd be ranting about something either like in my room or in my car at 3 a.m. if I needed to yell about something. Because you get great acoustics in a car, by the way. I'm just saying. And because it's all the fabric, right? And it's all like nothing's boxy. So the sound can't really go anywhere, which is pretty fantastic. But anyway, and then I got the snowball, and then it was still a while after that. It's still, I think 2016 is when I upgraded to the Yeti, and then I had that until 2018 or 2015, 2016, I got the Yeti. And then 2018 is when I ended up getting the Shure SMB7, which is the mic you're hearing now. And it's smooth. It's buttered. This is what you want to upgrade to one day, RJ. You want to get in on this action.
One day when I can afford it.
This is, yeah. That's true. I spent a fair amount. I think the whole rig was about probably $800 for everything: the mic, the mixer, the cloud lifter, and the arm, the Have-It. So like when you see someone with like their microphone set up, and it really, that is probably where like the bulk of their money goes. But that being said, Lot to talk about today.
Yes.
Garrick here asking the important question right off the bat. What happened between you and the quartering?
What hasn't happened with Matt Charbo on Twitter lately, though, to be
Yeah,
fair?
today's been a day. I want to address something that actually popped up today. So, I got into it obviously the other day with I put out a little TikTok, right, where I had compared the fandom menace effectively and other grifters to basically performing McCarthyism 2.0. By that, engaging in witch hunts, trying to destroy people's livelihoods, things like that. Very much cancel culture, although they'll never call it that. And apparently it struck a very large nerve.
Yeah, how many views does it have now? Like, what, 65K?
65,000 views. Yeah, 65,000 views in that video. And it's like, again, the thing is more people are seeing it that actually really do not like those people. So I've been getting a lot more followers, and I've been getting a lot of supportive DMs and private about it. And a lot of people telling me, keep going, keep going, keep going. Because the response that happened, and it's not that I want to like dwell on it or harp on it. We've talked about it the last couple nights, but the thing is, like, the quartering specifically got really mad at me because he thought I was calling him a communist, which is not at all what I had said.
He lacks basic comprehension skills.
He really does, absolutely. And then from there, like, he kept posting like the picture of a boulder, and then like he just kept saying ratioed by boulder.
Funny how all of them keep posting the exact same things, because it's almost like they have absolutely nothing else.
Yeah, it's really funny about that. And so then I kind of called him out on that a little bit. So he brought up the old polar bear video. And if anyone here knows, hell, I would assume at this point everybody knows. Everyone knows with the polar bear shit from 2012. It's been almost a decade. Stupid thing for me to do. But here's the thing with that is I've apologized, I've addressed it. And I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to be shamed for it. I'm not going to sit every time and like cower away because a mistake I made gets brought up again. And it's,
which is what they want. It's what they want.
Which is all they want me to do is run away from that.
You posted the scary polar bear video. I got to run away now and back off. It's like, dude, everybody knows. It's not an open secret anymore, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's very much out there in a multitude of fashions. It's nothing I'm proud of. I vehemently regret it. And that's obviously the worst decision of my life. That being said, what more do you want from me? I have to live my life. I have to move forward. And just because I have made mistakes in the past doesn't mean that the current things that are happening don't also need to be addressed. And of course, that ends up getting very much kind of, overlooked by these people. I mean, even Robin here says, you even got Nerdrotic talking about you in his live streams. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
Oh, he did?
I guess so. That would, they talk about me. I would
love to see that clip.
They talk about me, but they'll never actually talk to me. And I called Jeremy out for that today too. Geeks and Gamers. And this is really funny because he always says, I'll talk to anybody. I'm like, well, you'll never talk to me. And then there's this clip that he played
from
Max's stream when I went on there, and I had already said, because I was mobile, I was working, I was doing deliveries. So I could only have a few minutes, and they knew I had a few minutes. My phone was almost dead because if you've ever used StreamYard mobile, that shit will eat through your battery.
It does.
It really does. So I'm like, I had to go, and then they're trying to argue that like, oh, you ran from, like, I'm not. Anyone who knows me, especially over the course of the last year, knows I at no point run from anything. I at no point run from anything. So that's the whole funny thing. All they've really got is this idea that I'm somehow like they're trying to do everything they can to discredit anything I've had to say without ever addressing the fact that I'm 100% correct. So, and that is, like, here's the thing with that. Like, they can not address it. They don't have to. But the more they try to fight back against it, the more they try to, this is called the Streisand effect. The more they try to push back, the more they try to obfuscate. I can't even say it. My mouth is dry. Push, to move away from things, to try to like deflect and distract from the criticism. The more people see it, and then the more people might look into 100%.
It. And it's so funny because, again, they use the exact same playbook and they never, ever, ever change it. Where it's like, we bring up the exact two memes and we all just keep bringing up boulder, polar bear. It's like, when you bring up some original material already, that was old.
Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do when people start doing the boulder stuff? I have memes saved on my phone. People made of me of boulders.
Talk radio.
Yeah, on. Did you ever see though the meme someone made of me as Rey from at the end of The Last Jedi?
No.
They took this image. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They took this image of me, the one with my eyes glowing like this, and they put it on Star Wars thing here. Hold on, let me just find it. I've got it right here. Let me just bring it up real quick because it is hysterical. Because I just respond with these things now. If anyone brings it up in a way that is like, oh, you did this, I literally just I send a meme their way. I have a bunch of different memes people have made over the years.
That's awesome.
And these are just some of the tamer ones. There's some hardcore as there's a guy, the bend over guy that comes in here has got the rule 34 of me. You can't see what's in the other part of that image because he's got it cropped out for the YouTube Avi. But it's like, again, the image of me is completely naked and I'm beating myself off while holding a polar bear puppet. Like, that shit's fucking funny to me. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. When you spend 3 years getting shit on, you stop caring.
Well, it loses all impact. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It's the exact same thing. You know, it's like, who cares at this point? Like,
it really
it makes you look stupid because like you're just saying the exact same things and won't ever actually address the criticism.
Well, and then what's funny though is like because I call them all NPCs, and NPCs
they are acting like NPCs. That's the funniest thing.
Well, and that's the people
the exact same thing.
They got mad at me for it, and so I actually, again, I'll bring this up. I had to screenshot what the hell NPC actually means here, and because this is why it's so utterly hysterical. NPC, according to Urban Dictionary, it's a play on the video game's non-player character. It says here, an NPC is seemingly a human that is unable to think objectively. We exist in a simulated reality, and some humans take on the role of NPCs, spouting opinions they are programmed to spout and repeating in a cult-like manner. Which, I'm sorry, last I checked, is pretty fucking apt. So that's been my day. It's been pretty fun. I've been way too active on Twitter today. I didn't get anything else done that I wanted. I didn't even watch What If yet. Like, I haven't watched What If yet. I was Twitter, like, it was such a weird day. Again with my toddler and not wanting to take a nap, and so then I totally threw me off. And
yeah, I know some people in the chat were like, "When are you guys going to talk about What If?" It's like,
yeah, I know. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to watch it tonight. I have to go to bed at a decent hour tonight. I have to be up early tomorrow. I'm going to try to get to it tonight before bed. I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's my favorite episode so far. And I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that every single week, but it's like, well, no, this really was the best episode.
The show is really good. It's very good. And then also the other part of that too is that if you think about it, episode 4 of all these series has always had something pretty amazing happen. WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. At Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was when John Walker killed the guy. That was a shocking moment. Everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
What was WandaVision's episode 4?
That was the babies being born.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, no. Was that the babies being? It might have.
No, wasn't episode 4 the Monica Rambeau episode?
It might have been the Monica Rambeau.
That was what happened.
Maybe it was something with either the babies or Monica. It was definitely with Monica. I think that might have been when we first left. I got to go back and watch it again. It's good stuff. But anyway, I do got to get to a couple quick super chats, and then we are joined by Austin from Pop Culture Corner is here. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Austin? Not too much. I just got to quickly get to some of these super chats here. H Bar's kicking off the night. $2 China number 1. Yes, China number 1. There we go. Thank you for that one, and everything else. All right. Let's see. Hold on, we got McLeod here, $26.92 with a $10 Canadian. Thank you. It says here, honestly think that you are the only one who has a decent amount of popularity that calls out the fandom menace, and it has big reach compared to some random YouTuber who started their channel. Here's the thing with that. I'm not. There's been a lot of other people out there who have called out the fandom menace who do have significantly larger reach than me. I think the difference is that like I come at them pretty hardcore sometimes. And the thing is, us, you know, I was telling this to RJ even earlier today. He'll back me up. I said, I don't want these people canceled. I don't even want them to change their damn opinion. All I want is just honesty and reporting. You know, like, I don't want there to be like, you know, I'm tired of like Anna, that Star Wars girl that's like, you know, body shaming the actress who's playing Faye Valentine, you know.
She got a nose job.
Yeah, I know. Who gives a shit?
Anything.
Nose jobs, rhinoplasty, and boob jobs in Hollywood are like, they're as frequent as like sunny days.
Too. Really, yeah, like it happens everywhere.
It happens all the time. It is what it is. But the thing is, though, like, I think Ketwalski did a great job at calling out Doomcock. his video, I actually rewatched it again yesterday, didn't have the impact that I thought it was going to, but that's because it was Star Trek. I think if something happens with Star Wars, because we know he's lying about Star Wars stuff. If something happens with
7.
Yeah, then it's just, I think that might have a bigger reach because that's going to reach a bunch of different people. But with people like Dan Murrell and I think it was Hello Greedo and a number of other bigger people on Twitter who do have larger followings than me, they've been calling this out as well. And as a result of that, like, but they're not doing it like in the YouTube space where it can get into the algorithm. Honestly, I think one of the people who works the hardest at it would be someone like Mad Max the Mandalorian, because I think Max is always on it. I refuse to watch these people, right?
Yeah.
Like I just refuse.
Max
at this
is brave
point.
enough to actually watch it.
He'll watch
dive
it
deep into it.
Yeah, I don't do that. Like, honest to God, I don't want to. I will catch it like if it floats around. And so when something egregious floats around is usually when it gets my attention. But like, I don't sit there and like watch everything and take notes and clip shit. Every once in a while I'll come across something, but that's generally about it because I don't want that crap in my brain.
Well,
it's
God,
too distracting.
Just thinking of Doomcock, the video he did in the Rocketeer. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Yeah, well, hey,
we don't need to talk about it today, but it's just like,
yeah,
it was so bad.
It's masks off. Trust me on that one, guys.
I want Enosh to cover that video. Enosh in the chat, like, I want him to cover that video so bad.
I think he probably will. Yeah,
please, Enosh, cover the Rocketeer video, please. It's so bad.
And Anthony here says, "Bring back Boulder Talk Radio." I get that a lot, man. I do. I'll tell you this though, it's not necessarily worth my mental health at this point for that. Let's see. Hold on. Rational Skeptic here says, "Are you still friends with Lauren Southern?" I mean, look, we were never unfriendly with one another. I liked Lauren back when she was a cultural libertarian, and that was a number of years ago. That was before she got in with the right-wing grift. I mean, that was before she wrote that absolutely terrible book, Barbarians. That was basically a novella that was so propped up by Breitbart. I know she's back. She's trying to get back in and like the Twitch space right now, capitalize on some of that stuff that's going on. I unfollowed her on Twitter probably about a year and a half ago. And I know she still follows me because she never paid attention. She followed me, but she doesn't pay attention to me. But yeah, I don't watch her stuff anymore, man. I can't. That stuff is too. That stuff is like too crazy. You know what I mean? A lot of the people are like that. You know. Same with like Shoe on Head. I unfollowed Shoe on Head. She still follows me. She's very lefty, but you know what? It's just.
I love Shoe. I love Shoe. She's great.
I've met her multiple times. She's very nice. Nothing against her. And then we got the AMBW channel here. It says, "Fart on this live stream. Do it now." Thank you very much for
that's
$10.
The one thing about the Blue Yeti, man. It captures a lot of audio. I got to be more careful now.
Did you fart?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so I thought suddenly we were in the Poindexter Lounge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we were in the Poindexter Lounge, given how often Enoch has farted on the stream there. That's why I mute my mic, baby. When I gotta let it go, I'm like, this mic will pick up a lot. I just mute it and walk away. That's how you got to do that stuff. Anyway, guys. And then all right, we got Command Unit here with Daily Dose of 40K. We'll take a look at that. Legacy by Sodas. Thanks a lot, man. Let me just quickly jot that down in the all right, side chat there, so I have it brought back for later. Okay, and then Enosh is currently toy hunting in Chicago.
That's cool.
Nice.
Chicago has a lot of awesome toy stores.
I haven't like ever actually. I've only been to O'Hare. That's it. I've only ever been to O'Hare.
You went to the they have like a museum, like an art museum or something. That's like has a Marvel exhibit. It's amazing. Like there's like Enoch was sending me pictures. Like he's like they have like the props from Spider-Man 2002, and they got like Marvel costumes there from the MCU. It's like I'm so jealous. I need to go to Chicago and head over there because it looks awesome.
I do want to. I would love to do more traveling. Like, and my future plans are to do more traveling. Probably more on like cruise. I want to do cruises. You know, like I haven't done a cruise I'm doing a cruise next year. I haven't done one in 5 years.
What cruise?
What's like the
we're going back to Alaska. We did Alaska 5 years ago. We're going back to Alaska next year. Look, the Alaskan cruise is so much fun.
Yeah. Really? Wait, like what cruise line though?
Carnival, I think. I know there's a lot. Like, I want to try Royal Caribbean.
Cruise?
No, we were actually trying to price Disney Wish. We were trying to price Disney Wish because we were like, okay, like, you know, my girlfriend turns 40 at the end in a month. I turn 40 in 6 months. We're like, okay, we turn 40. That's a big milestone. Like, we got to take the girls somewhere. What are we going to do for a vacation? And then I know that the Disney Wish is in its inaugural run. And I'm like, man, I would love to do the Disney Wish. And we started pricing it out. And I'm like, holy shit. No, man, it's too expensive. I could take like 6 people to Alaska for a week for like the price of like 2 of us to go on the Disney Wish for 1 week. It's so freaking expensive. And I've been watching a bunch of cruise videos about like the Bahamas and stuff, and I really want to go see the Caribbean and go to the Bahamas. I want to go check all that out. But I'll tell you the thing with the Alaska though. When I was on the last Alaska cruise, all I wanted to do was see an orca, right? Mm-hmm. And so on the last day of the cruise, we were coming back coming down the Puget, heading to Victoria, British Columbia. And as I'm on like the bottom deck, that's like sea level, all of a sudden I look out and a pod of orcas just like jump up right next to the window.
Nice.
You know, and I'm like right there next to them. It was one of the coolest things I've ever freaking seen. Not only that, but like, I mean, there were bald eagles everywhere when we went to Ketchikan. I got to go to a notorious gangster's gravesite in Skagway. That was wicked. We actually took a bus to the outskirts of town, and we walked about 3/4 of a mile following this like old river up to this old like, graveyard from the 1800s. And there was a guy named Soapy Smith who was like the local crime lord, basically. And he was shot and killed in the town by a townsman, but they buried him in this grave in this graveyard. And so his grave is still there. So I got to go walk up, and like after I learned the history of who Soapy Smith was, I got to go check out his grave. I'm a true crime guy. So for me, like that was really interesting. And then we went gold panning in Juneau the next day. So we got to like, you know, go up to this river and like just do the whole gold panning thing. Did that with my mom and my girlfriend and her mom. Had an absolute blast gold panning. I mean, it's simple, but it's just it's very tactile. You know, like it's, you know, like you're not making any money at this. You get little flecks of gold. You know, that's all you get. Right. But it's just like the experience of just being in more in nature, more in like, it's a very like, there's no internet. You know, if you want to get Wi-Fi, you have to like buy something from a store, and the Wi-Fi is shit. You know, so it's like there's not even really worth it. You're just kind of disconnected, and it's very peaceful. It's very quiet. It's very nice. And just to kind of get away from everything would be nice. And that's why I like cruising on those kind of cruises. But like, yeah, I do want to do the Disney.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard the Disney one was super expensive, but
it is very expensive.
I don't know. I've never thought of wanting to go to Alaska, but you kind of make it sound appealing.
Dude, Alaska's the shit, man. Like, I don't want to ever, like, I don't want to ever live there.
Right.
To be honest with you. But like, I would love to visit more often, you know, because one thing I want to do is I want to fly into Anchorage, and then you can fly into Anchorage at the right time of year. Like, I really want to see Aurora Borealis, you know, the Northern Lights.
Oh yes,
and so I was pricing flying into Anchorage from Seattle during the winter, and like just staying at a bed and breakfast during the time when the Borealis might be visible, because you can actually kind of track it. Mm-hmm. And so when I was on my cruise, I was tracking it before we left, but we went in June, and when you're going north, it's like, you know, it's light until about 11 o'clock.
Right.
And so I'm on the top deck of the boat and I'm like the only one out there, and I'm just walking around. It's like probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I look up and I see this green smoke in the air. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. You're in Alaska. There shouldn't be smoke. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, it's clear skies, but there's like this green kind of like fog smoke in the air. And I went over to a dude cleaning the deck, and I'm like, do you know what that is? And he's like, I see it all the time. I have no idea. And I looked at it again. I'm like, I think that's the Aurora Borealis, but it's just because it's still light out. All you can see is just the particles. You can't actually see anything. So that was unfortunate, but it was still like really kind of cool to be the only one up there, really. And to be looking at this and like kind of knowing what it was. But again, like, you're on this massive floating resort, and there's, you know, mountains on one side, mountains on the other, massive, huge channel that you're in. And it's peaceful. It's quiet. Yeah, there's wind, but it's just kind of you out there alone with your thoughts. It's really cool. And there's no distractions, and it's just a nice getaway. I mean, I would say like it's worth the money for that alone. But that's just me. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. I don't know why, but when you said Aurora Borealis, it made me think of the Simpsons episode Steamed Hams. I don't know why. It's not even. I don't even think he says Aurora Borealis, but I don't know why. Just, like, I was so confused. Like, why are you talking about?
I don't know. He said that.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo Chalmers. So wait, what's that coming from your kitchen? Oh, it's the Aurora Borealis. May I see it? No. Anyway, HBarts here says going to see Shang-Chi tomorrow. So far, only 13 seats are sold. I think as more come in, it's going to end up doing really well. But we'll talk about that. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Actually, a lot to get into. I have a lot of things to cover right off the bat.
Yeah, I know. It's like, where do you even want to start?
I already got it all. Locked and loaded. I actually had a little bit of time, and I took a nap, so I'm awake.
Right. Yeah, same. That's why I was able to sleep all day. So I'm like,
yeah, I put my kids down, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit, and I passed out for like 45 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's do this here. So Shang-Chi comes out tomorrow night, and the box office predictions are coming out. And today was fascinating because I noticed there was some interesting wording that was being used. And
it tricked me. It tricked me.
It tricked you because you hit me up with that. You were the one telling me about that, and I'm like, because what it was is they were saying, like, effectively they're saying that worldwide it was looking to hit $90 million. But what people were interpreting it as saying was that it was going to do 90 million domestic, is what they were effectively saying, or what they were trying to say. And I'm like, but the numbers there are all. The numbers there are all saying it's international, but they're kind of like I feel like they were all like in parentheses in the back under a blanket, and I'm trying to understand like why this movie feels a little bit different in this discussion. And it might be because everyone is out there on the other side. The people that I called out for spreading fake news and fake narratives, they're out there saying it's going to flop. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be all of these things.
It's what they want. They're like rooting for it to fail.
Imagine saying you're a fan of something, right? And you want it to fail. It's the weirdest thing. It's like saying you want a girlfriend, but you call every girl a whore. You're just not going to get what you want. Maybe one day you might, but you're not going to be happy. But that's really a lot of what it boils down to in this case is like, there's a lot of that narrative that this is going to be the lowest opening Marvel movie. Well, think of it like there are mitigating factors in this. You do have the fact that it is Labor Day weekend. Schools in California and other places are already back, but a lot of other schools aren't open yet. And they go back into school next week. There are still places that are still doing remote learning. So that is a factor. Yeah. You have people that want to go out of town.
Yeah, and again, there's a goddamn pandemic, people. There's a Delta variant raging across the country. ICU beds are being filled to max capacity. Yeah. It's a disaster in some places, especially big cities.
Yeah, well, that was the thing is I was looking up my local ICU, and they're at capacity with COVID patients, Same even though I live in a town of 40,000 people. And so, not a county with 3.3 million, as some people out there like to, use as a metric. But the reality of it is simply this. There are a lot of reasons why people may not go. They're still not feeling that it's safe, because theaters, they might have done the cleaning, they'll do the in-between, they'll go and they'll sanitize, which is great. But the ventilation system in these places are as far as I know, those haven't really been touched.
Right.
And that's a factor. That's a factor when it comes to the recycling of air and all of those particles and everything else. So you got it. People are worried about that. There are still deaths happening. I mean, Joe Rogan today, for example, ended up coming down with COVID. I was going to bring this up.
Really?
He's been very dismissive of the vaccine. He got COVID. His as far as I know, I think he was talking about his kids potentially got COVID as well. And he was saying he took ivermectin, which I'm just like, you took a horse dewormer, Joe. What are you doing? But
yeah, there's TikTok videos of like him turning into a horse.
Yeah. I retweeted one of those today for my friend Maddox. Yeah. That was really funny. I mean, it's terrible. I shouldn't laugh, but I am, because Joe's being an idiot.
Right,
But again, people like that, Joe Rogan is very influential. And so if he's coming out saying, yeah, I got COVID, his audience might start taking it more seriously. They may not go out. I know there's been talks about concerts and sporting events and like NASCAR being sold out left and right. It's the
or
demand
wrestling
is
or like music
wrestling.
concert,
Yeah.
right.
Well, the thing is, a lot of those are like in open air environments. And so like concerts are outside. NASCAR is definitely outside. Wrestling is indoors, but still it's a very large auditorium.
Mm.
So there are things, you can look at there. And there's also really dumb people. And that's the other factor of it here too, is that there's a lot of really dumb people out there that aren't going to take it seriously because they can't see it, they can't taste it, they can't touch it. So there are definitely like, I don't know what to think about this. So I think that's a factor in what's going to be going on this weekend. But I also think that you've got the Marvel, look, even fucking Suicide Squad couldn't clear $28 million, or was it 26 million or something like that?
Yeah,
right?
it only hit
Right.
26. Yeah.
So if Shang-Chi, which is not a new property, or which is a new property compared to another, a sequel to a
it's
larger
brand new character.
Yeah.
It's
If that's gonna
mostly
come
unknown
out-
actors too.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, well, you have Michelle Yeoh, who is known, but then Tony Leung is
Aquafina
not.
and Tony Leung. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of known. I mean, Tony Leung is big in China, but then again, Shang-Chi is not opening up in China. Neither is the Eternals, and so that's kind of fascinating to see what's going to be going on there. But I don't think it's going to be. I think the $50 million is actually a solid. It's a solid domestic opening. And I think that's as good. That's even better than what a lot of other movies are going to get. Look, Candyman did $20 million last weekend on a $25 million budget.
And that's respectable for that movie. I think.
that's respectable.
That's pretty good
for a horror film. So I think a lot of people here are kind of looking at Shang-Chi and saying like, oh, hey, it's going to flop. It's going to flop. But that's not, if your movie is coming out and it's in like, if the only other movie above it during the pandemic really is fucking Black Widow, and Black Widow opened with 80 million, which is still larger.
Also in the summer before the Delta variant really took off.
Yeah. Yep. And complete with people being able to buy it at home.
Yes.
I do think that it's possible that Shang-Chi, I think Shang-Chi is going to be a word of mouth movie.
Yeah, I think it's going to hold very well weekend to weekend.
I do think so. Because you've got Venom in a couple weeks. Coming after that,
so maybe.
Right,
well, no, I think I'm going to talk about that too. I got those. I'm pretty sure I have those. I grabbed that article. I might not have. That was a lot going. That was hard to find all the articles of that, by the way, of what all was being pulled. I'll see if I can find something real quick. But what do you guys think about this? What do you think the amount of money is going to be for Shang-Chi?
Well, here's the thing. Optimistically, I would like to imagine it makes 50 to 60 million domestic opening weekend. I think it could hit 100 million opening weekend worldwide. Maybe. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but if Shang-Chi opens under 50 million, hell, even under 40 especially, but under 50, I think you're going to see another wave of delays. I think Eternals is going to go to premiere access day and date. And I think a lot of the 2021 movies that are left on the calendar get pushed to next year. And I think you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff go to streaming. And basically after Labor Day weekend, you're going to see all hands on deck as they try to figure out what the hell they're going to do. Because this is the litmus test. This is like the canary in the coal mine. Again, if this movie doesn't open at 50 million, I would be very scared for the rest of the year.
Which is very fascinating in general to see here.
I agree. And
so
then also, you think back too with Black Widow. I mean, look, this movie I think has a couple things going for it that Black Widow doesn't. Obviously, I think the diversity thing and letting that culture be able to be represented and stuff is going to play a big part in it. I think so. I think it is going to do at least in the $50-60 million range. I think what Black Widow did, I think if I remember, $60 million domestically and then 30 million with Disney Plus.
No, Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
No, it did 80 million domestic and 60 million through Disney Plus. And then as we found out through Scarlett Johansson's team when they were filing response to they were filing more information about the lawsuit. Mm-hmm. They had said it actually did 125 million on Disney Plus in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they don't got to share that with theaters. That's pure money over
That's
them.
pure profit for Disney Plus. So it's like, because that was the thing, is like Disney didn't release the premiere access numbers the week after, and people believe that because of the 72% drop off that Black Widow had, that it was indicative of, oh, everyone who wanted to see it has seen it, and clearly piracy is a big issue here. And I'm like, then you find out 125 million, like, well, that blows that shit out of the fucking water.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I severely underestimated those.
Yeah.
Well, then.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's the weirdest thing too, is like no one brought that fact. I think I've mentioned it before, but like no one, like I haven't seen a lot of other people bring that fact up, and I find that to be really weird, because that is a very interesting data point, and one that we should be talking about.
I agree. I mean, and it makes me wonder almost. I mean, maybe Shang-Chi would have benefited from being a day and date.
Maybe in hindsight, maybe they wish they would have done that just to like boost the revenue for this.
Okay. DC here says that Disney said the total amount, not Scarlett's lawyers. Her lawyers responded to Disney, letting that information go public. Oh, okay. I don't know if that would really help, to be honest with you, in that regard. I don't know if like letting that info is going to do really well for you. But to go back to the whole thing about the release dates real quick, because I want to touch upon that. There was a lot of release date changes today.
Mostly from Paramount.
Mostly from Paramount, and that makes a lot of sense, all things considered. They moved Top Gun Maverick back from December to May 27th, a full 2 years. That movie is a full 2 years in from its release date. Its original release date.
Yeah, it took over Mission Impossible 7's release date.
It did. Mission Impossible has been delayed until September 30th, 2022. And I did say that, though, as soon as I saw this.
That's a weird release date for Mission Impossible, by the way. You think they want to be a summer movie.
You would think so. I don't understand necessarily September 30th on this one, but yeah. But as soon as I saw Top Gun Maverick, I said like, oh, they're going to move Mission Impossible 2. And then literally like minutes later, this popped up and I'm like, all right, I called it.
And then, even worse, Jackass.
Oh, God.
Nah, well, Jackass got delayed a little bit. Yeah. But then
got delayed in February, man.
It did. But then Ghostbusters here was delayed a week because they moved into the, was it the Mission Impossible? Not the Mission Impossible. Top Gun. The Top Gun slot. Yeah, which is, it puts them closer to Thanksgiving. That puts
it's also very smart. It gives them space
smart
between Eternals.
Yeah, and that's for the best, because they're probably thinking Eternals is going to do pretty well, and then and then wherever Jackass is.
I've been waiting for Top Gun 2 for those 2 years.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to see in IMAX. It's one I really want to see in IMAX because of Joseph Kosinski. I think is a fantastic director. Tron, Oblivion.
Yep.
The IMAX footage, because he's a very visual director, so they're going to shoot this heavily in IMAX. I want to see that. Plus, when Tony Scott killed himself, I legitimately cried. And when I was living in LA when he killed himself, and that fucking gutted me. And it's been like 10 years.
It hurt because growing up, I followed him and Ridley's like career. So like Man on Fire, dude, is like one of my favorite Tony Scott.
I still hate the ending to that movie, by the way.
I'm trying to remember what he
because at the end of it he blew himself up.
Right.
But like there was something else he could have done. I think that would have I like the ending, but there was something else he could have done with that thing. I think that would have done a little bit better than what it did. But I got to go back and watch it again. But I mean, yeah, Tony Scott was great.
Unstoppable.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, Top Gun. Yep. I mean, like, the guy was never as acclaimed as his brother, but it still hurt. It's still because because I wasn't that far away. I think from when he killed himself, because I think he jumped off a bridge.
He jumped off the bridge, yeah.
And so that caught me. That really hurt back then. So I really want to see this. Because I want them to do it justice. I want them to do it justice and stuff. So I definitely am curious to see here. So let me ask you guys, because I did actually make this graphic beforehand. Do you guys think Shang-Chi will flop? I mean, and I'm being hyperbolic with the flopping, but it is a question. And so I do want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because it is a very fascinating discussion overall, and one that we're going to have to wait a couple of days to find out. Yeah. But in the meantime, I do want to, there's been a number of super chats I need to get to, because you guys have been like,
I just want to say real quick, like, I think that, again, this weekend is so important, because I think the delays from Paramount are going to be a domino effect. I really do. It's a potential domino effect for the rest of the year and all the other studios. So it's definitely a situation you got to keep your eyes on. So I won't tell you what to do, but I highly encourage you to go get vaccinated and go see Shang-Chi if you want to see movies like Spider-Man this December. So
yeah, if you want to see Spider-Man, you got to go see Shang-Chi. There we go. I think that's like that is how you do it. That's how you sell it. That should be the carrot and the stick, right? Yep. That should be the carrot and the stick.
If you want Spider-Man this year, go see Shang-Chi.
Sony should totally fucking make that a marketing campaign. Do you want to see Spider-Man? Get vaccinated. That's it. There we go. Because I think the thing is they know there's going to be a lot of money to be made. That is the winter Christmas movie, you know, and there's a lot of cash that's going to be made off this.
Well, there's a rumor right now from everyone's favorite YouTube pundit Grace Randolph that Venom 2 is getting delayed, and that Spider-Man No Way Home is going to take the date of Doctor Strange 2 in March. If that happens, I'm going to be very, very sad.
I don't see that happening. Sony has not said they moved Ghostbusters, but not Venom again. Even though now they should move Venom just so it doesn't compete with Halloween Kills, because Viewer Anon was bitching about that today. And they should, because Halloween Kills and Venom 2 are still on the same release date. They should move Venom 2 to whatever had moved. There's an open slot somewhere. Let it move in so the two don't cannibalize each other.
Right.
So there's a lot of that one there. And then I caught a lot of crap last night because I talked about the Venom 2, how I thought it was going to be rated R, and everyone's like, it's Spider-Man. There'd be no reason for it to be rated R. I'm like, we addressed that last night. Sony was pretty arrogant after the $860 million Venom, you know, they wanted to go a little harder. They wanted to make it a thing, especially after the success of Deadpool, Logan, and you know, everything else. So I don't know. I mean, look, they'll be able to take it a few places, but I think we're going to be okay. But let's jump in. We've got some super chats here. Daniel Scott, $5, man. Thank you. Says, I worked in the fish processing plant in Dutch Harbor, Alaska for 3 years. Wow. Nice, man. How was that? I don't know where Dutch Harbor is, but there's probably pretty steady work up there. Thank you. And then Andrew Dunbar here with a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Says, Soapy Smith, the man who killed the coward Robert Ford. Oh, really? Okay.
That's what that is. Okay.
All right. Because Robert Ford, isn't he the one who killed Jesse James?
Yep.
Right. So it's kind of like it's like a game of Kevin Bacon of who killed who. 6 degrees of Soapy Smith. The man who killed the coward Robert Ford, he and some dirty cops barricaded themselves inside Denver City Hall with rifles and dynamite in a standoff with the Colorado militia with howitzers. Nice. That's cool, man. Thank you very much. I do need to read up more on Soapy Swift because it was cool to learn about him when I was in Alaska. Command unit here is saying Joe was never smart. That's why he's fun to watch. I know he's a meathead, but you know, like you want Joe to do better, right? You want Joe to do better. Thank you for that one. Andrew here with another $5 says, Soapy Smith, the man who ran a stock exchange with no actual companies listed on it. He and his cronies manipulated the prices for their advantage. So what you're saying is he's like the Wolf of Wall Street for back in the day. You know, we like to idolize and lionize villains in our folklore. So maybe we should get a campaign going to really kind of elevate the popularity of Soapy Smith. Get a movie made. Get
Smith going.
Yeah, get a biopic going, or as some people say, biopic, which I can't fucking stand that terminology. Gaylete here, $2. Thank you, man. It's a sup gang. You slow me that call in. We'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's going on with that tonight. Can't guarantee anything. McLeod here with $5. Thank you, man. It says old Brogan at his pure broiest with his BS pseudo bro intellectual bro science coming back to bite him. How about in the bro ass? Gotta do the bro ass thing. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, look, it is definitely kind of dumb that he got it because he's so whatever with it. Especially he's in Texas where like we have it under control, you know. And I hope him and his family a very quick and speedy recovery. Absolutely. And then also Andrew Dunbar here with another $5, man. Thank you. Soapy Smith, the man who ran a con on a Mexican president, Porfirio Diaz, assuring him that he could raise an army of American mercenaries for a fee. Oh man, we're turning this guy into we're really lionizing this guy tonight.
I'm getting interested in Soapy Smith here. Like,
you got a
story.
Gotta jump in on that one there. And then HBart's here with $2, man. Thank you. Says, is No Time to Die confirmed to stay? At this point, it is confirmed to stay.
Yes, and apparently, according to Viewer Not, actually, they're actually going to be looking at No Time to Die as well as a litmus test as well. And I'm like, that movie was never going to do well anyway. I think pandemic or not.
Oh, I thought that movie was going to be big.
Well, I'm not, okay,
it's never going to hit that 900 million, maybe.
Yes, it was never going to like be a profitable movie for them. Right. That's what
how
I mean,
though? How do they keep spending all that money on like?
It must be
Bond...
the contracts with the actors or something.
Dude, I mean, the thing with Bond films is that they've always gone to like realistic locations. You know, like that was something with like I remember I forget which Roger Moore movie it was. They shot in Egypt outside of the Great Pyramids of Giza. And it was just like a quick scene of the movie, but they went to Egypt and they shot the movie there. Like remember the opening of GoldenEye when he jumps off that dam?
Yep.
That was like the largest dam in the world. And they went out there and they specifically shot the intro of that movie at that dam because they wanted it to be like, you know, they wanted you to feel like this is a massive thing.
Right.
So Bond has always had that kind of larger than life aesthetic. So they find I mean, look at the opening shot of fucking Spectre. You know, I mean,
Mexico scene,
in Mexico, and like all the destruction at the end there and like the Day of the Dead. I mean, so many moving pieces, so many moving parts. Sure, a lot of it was stitched together. But still, it was like a lot was going on with these movies, and that's where a lot of the budget goes. There's also a lot of visual effects. You know, it's kind of like remember at the end of Skyfall when they're outside of the house and it's burning, and you know you're looking like, oh man, the house is burning. Like I thought that was real. Turns out they just had like a couple really big LED lights, orange lights. That was what Roger Deakins used to light it, and that was all CG. You know, it was all CG in the background. You don't really think about it because you're so focused on M and her impending demise that you're not really thinking about the house burning, but it's you know, so there's a lot of visual effects that go into these movies, and that really does raise up the budget.
Yeah. I mean, Skyfall for me was the high point of the Daniel Craig franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're right. This movie was never going to make, you know, 900 million or anything like that, but I think it being the final Daniel Craig one, it was gonna be somewhat successful. You know, and then also probably another reason why this movie's budget went through the roof is because I think I heard Daniel Craig wanted like a massive pay raise to come back one more time. So
yeah, I don't know why he came back one more time. I mean, unless they just were not happy with how Spectre turned out, which is what I think happened.
I think that's what,
because Skyfall ended on. Well, on Skyfall, you know, it won Best Picture at the BAFTAs in the UK, and it did over $1 billion financially, and then it was a high point. It won a lot of awards. It was really well praised. You know, Sam Mendes was, you know, like, oh my God. I mean, even parts of Shang-Chi, some of the trailer stuff I've seen has very much pulled from Skyfall. You know, the cinematography
when they're fighting in the yep, I agree.
So that's
exactly what I thought of.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, that should get everyone's interest on that. I caught my eye right off the bat. Like that looks pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they do with that thing. So yeah, there's a lot there with those movies that they've got to really build off of. But I do feel like Spectre was I liked Spectre quite a bit, but it didn't really stick the landing as well as Skyfall did. And I think like that's why they want to go out on something that was going to be massive. Because remember, Danny Boyle was going to do he was going to do No Time to Die, whatever they were going to call it, the next Bond film, Bond 25 or whatever, right? So Danny Boyle, and you know, Danny Boyle is like not a small, you know, he's not a small character. He's not a small name. You know, he won Best Picture for Slumdog Millionaire. There was like Train Spotting, 28 Days Later. 127 Hours. I mean, the guy's done a lot of movies that people really like, and he's a very artistic director.
Even and Steve Jobs, for me, Steve Jobs was phenomenal.
And then that was one of the problems, though, is they weren't able to crack the nut, but they got Corey Fukunaga, who is the first American director to tackle James Bond. And I love that guy's work on True Detective Season 1. Yeah. So it's like seeing that brought into Bond, that to me has me very interested. Never mind the trailers make it look exceptionally cinematic, exceptionally like just like holy shit, and something that's going to be a lot of fun to check out, and that's what I'm personally waiting for. So so there's hold on here. Geeks here says Sony should hire Matt for what? Talking about Bond. Well, Sony's not doing this Bond. This one is all This one is all Universal. So, and then HWAD here says diamonds are forever this weekend because he's going through all the movies right now. So that's awesome. That's gonna be pretty good. And then I didn't want to miss this one here from Andrew. $5, man. Thank you. Says, I feel that not everyone here shares my enthusiasm for Old West con men. It truly is their loss. You know what, man? I share your enthusiasm for Old West con men because that's some great grifting right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's way better than the grifting of today. The grifting of today is lazy and on the internet. You know, it's either like scam artists that tell you owe money to the government, or people like the Quartering who practice McCarthyism 2.0. But back in the day, they had to put effort into the grifts. You know, to be a snake oil salesman, it took skill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on, man. Dude, I would love... You ever play Red Dead Redemption? There's this whole storyline with a snake oil salesman. That's just...
Oh, yeah. Nigel West Dickens. I love Nigel West Dickens.
He's great, man. He's great.
Oh, dude. I played...
John Marston's like, you're such a piece of shit, but I'll help you out.
Oh, man. I loved the Nigel West Dickens storyline in that game. And I was... doesn't he... I forget if he pops up in Red Dead 2.
I think he does. You do,
yeah, because it's set prior. It's set prior to everything, like 10 years prior to Red Dead. Yeah, man. I that's what I want to see. I want to see a Red Dead Redemption movie. But we do have here. HBar's here another $2 says I think Blofeld is the villain with the new Bond. I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see what's going on. I don't know yet. Ryan Rivera here says Casino Royale is still my favorite Bond film. It's a good one, man.
Yeah,
it's a very, very, very
that
good one.
Skyfall are my two top.
Oh yeah,
this Daniel Craig franchise.
I like the Daniel Craig ones quite a bit. So all right, guys, let's move over here and let's talk about a little bit of some news that I'm actually. This is coming in. This is a rumor, just to be sure. But Andor, got a little bit of news about Andor. I dropped a short today on YouTube about that. That it sounded wonderful because I actually did a lot of chicanery with it today. I recorded it on my phone and then recorded the audio and then mixed it all together. But anyway, according to onetakenews.wordpress.com, which here's the thing with that. I know. It's like I saw that, but it is coming in through Big Screen Leaks. Big Screen Leaks is a verified Twitter account.
Oh, I know that.
Oh yeah. So this is like their website, and I'm like, hey.
Change your name then.
Like upgrade. Yeah. Like I need to upgrade $3 Theater, but I at least pay the couple $100 a year to be able to do it with WordPress. Right. Which soon I will be adding more to $3bucktheater.com, like the podcast and everything will be going up there. But here's what we know coming out of this right here for Andor, and I'm actually really kind of interested in this. So it will revisit elements of the prequels, including a return to Coruscant. Saying here that it's been filming for a while, and thanks to our own sources and further confirmation from the Bestman Bulletin, we learned that it recently wrapped filming. However, details are quite scarce on it. We've seen a few things such as cast and some concept art and the sets being built, but not much on the plot or planets. So, One Take News is excited to exclusively report that Andor will take elements from the prequel trilogy and throughout the show, and this includes a return to Coruscant and even potentially seeing post-Order 66 clone troopers, specifically some later produced clones and regular bucketheads. Now, if you've paid attention at all to the Bad Batch, that is a plot point. That was a plot point in the season.
Yep. It's going to directly carry over some of those elements.
Yep.
Which makes all the sense in the world.
Cool. Yeah, timeline-wise, it lines up perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, they're still got clones. It's going to probably be older clones, but they still need to, Andor, how many years is Cassian Andor taking place before Rogue One?
That's a great question. I don't know.
It's a couple years, I think.
Yeah, at least like 5, 6.
Oh yeah, I'd say that.
So yeah, I mean, so we're talking about 15 years, maybe after the events of Revenge of the Sith. So there's a lot of time there to get the conscripted Imperial soldiers and to move out the clones. And there could be that's a whole thing with Bad Batch. They're going to explore more of it the next season, obviously.
Yeah. I just looked it up, by the way. It is 5 years.
Okay. So they like to go in that 5-year route. Have you noticed that? It gives them enough wiggle room to do something a little different, but not feel so closely connected to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this
I mean,
is
you can visit Coruscant like this says. I mean, that's really cool that we might go back to Coruscant and see that.
Yeah, I want to know what the story is because remember. Well, you guys probably do remember this, but remember when they first pitched the show? It's like, oh, it's gonna be Andor and K2SO, and then we find out recently, oh no, K2SO is not in this. I'm like, what?
Right.
no.
Alan Tudyk?
K2SO is in it. It's just that Alan Tudyk is not going to be on set. Because originally Alan Tudyk was going to be on set as K2SO like he was in Rogue One, because he was on set doing the motion capture there. Here he's not going to do that. I think because he has that sci-fi show Resident Alien, which and he's got a lot of other stuff coming up. But as far as I know, he's still going to be doing the voice.
So he is in the show. The character is in the show.
That's the last I heard.
There was some conflicting information saying, "Oh no, he's not going to be in the show at all." They cut him out. I'm like, how do you have Andor no K2SO? It's like they're a duo, they're a pair.
Oh, okay. It says, so sorry, I was wrong. It says here that Alan Tudyk says K2SO won't be included in the show, but he says at least the idea there is at least for now. Maybe not the first season because he's got to find and deprogram K2SO.
Yeah, like how do you not do that?
So I would assume that like towards the end. Okay, he says here they're shooting it right now, but I'm not in it. But if it stays on the air and the stories keep getting told, I'll end up in there, Tudyk says. So that's basically, he'll be in it. Maybe he's not in it right away because they've got to like go and set that up. But, like him saying they're shooting it right now, but I'm not in it. Does, he's like, yeah, because he's not on set, but eventually he'll end up being there.
Yeah, I am excited to see the return of Coruscant though, because I like seeing it during the peak of like the Emperor's rule over it. It's like that's gonna be amazing to see
what's going on there. Absolutely. And then too, I think that's I think I heard this is gonna be like a spy type series. That's kind of the direction they're going.
A lot more espionage.
And that's what I'm looking forward to is the moral ambiguity. Because the opening of Rogue One, I did not like Cassian Andor right off the bat. Because I didn't feel he needed to kill that guy. I felt like I get why he killed him, but I still felt it was like, oh shit, okay. Like he'll just do whatever to save his own ass.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, the guy obviously was like losing his mind. He's freaking out. I get that. But he could have like hit him. He could have done something, like knocked him out and like left him there as he escaped or something. But instead he just shot the dude in the back and then fucked off. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, okay, this is indicating right off the bat that this character will literally do whatever is needed to complete the mission.
Yeah, to complete the mission and build up the rebellion, keep it alive.
Exactly. So then the question becomes, are we going to see more of that moral ambiguity going forward? But what I don't know is, was that Gareth Edwards or was that Tony Gilroy? I'm not too sure who did that.
Tony is the one here with Cassian for the
Tony.
series.
Yeah, Tony is show running it, but he's show running it from across the pond.
Yeah. Well, didn't Tony oversee the final edit of the film though? So he must have oversaw that scene.
He oversaw the reshoots and he oversaw the final cut. Yeah, the Vader scene was definitely him. And a lot of what Gareth had shot, apparently, the way Gareth described it was that it was like a war documentary. I would love to see the Gareth Edwards cut of Rogue
or like at least some kind of footage to get an idea.
Because there was that shot from the original trailer when they're running on the beach and they're running like at the AT-AT, and like it's like and like turns, starts opening fire. And I was like, oh my god! Because to me, what was so cool about that shot from the trailer was the fact that when you like. I never really felt like we got to see a lot of that perspective in the Battle for Hoth. You see, like there's a lot of the wide shots. Obviously, Luke gets up.
Yeah, you don't get to see the perspective, like the ground soldiers running up, and there's these giant walkers above them, towering over them.
Exactly, right. and then this is like a group of them running, and there's like they're running at like they're challenging an AT-AT. I was like, the inner like the Battlefront fan in me was like, yeah,
let's go.
Let's fucking go. Like get it. And then like it wasn't in the movie and I was like, shit. But I also, here's the thing with that. I kind of also forgot about that till later on because I was still so taken by that Vader scene. So that
Vader scene made the movie. I mean, the rest of the movie is great too, but that scene solidified it in like the Hall of Fame, like all-time greats,
Oh yeah. Have you seen that synced up to Can't Stop Me Now by Queen?
Yes, I have. Yes.
That was really funny. That was really funny how that kind of went together. But yeah, I'm super stoked for Andor. The more we get closer to it, the more I think the hype is going to build. I personally cannot wait to dive back into it.
Making Star Wars said that Gilroy shot the Cassian intro for Rogue One.
Oh, hey, what's up, Jason? How you doing? Oh, there we go. All right, man. I didn't know you were here. Okay, Gilroy shot that. Okay, so the moral ambiguity is going to end up being.
That makes me even more excited then. There you go.
Then that's going to be really good. All right, cool. I'm very excited for that one. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate your insight as always. Check out makingstarwars.net daily live streams. Talking about Star Wars stuff, a lot of good stuff there. I tune in. I may not always get to chat with, but I do check it out when I can. Jason is a good guy. So thank you very much for that, brother. Yeah, I'm just excited. I really want to see it. I want more Star Wars. You've had a year of Marvel, which is fantastic. I'm very happy. But I'm dying for more Star Wars. Yeah. Like I'm dying to get hyped up for Star Wars.
I just saw a comment from Ryan. He's like, I haven't seen Rogue One. I think Rogue One is probably the best film to come out of, the Disney takeover stuff, best Star Wars film.
Yeah.
But I do make the argument in the case that in the overall aspect of things, and hopefully Andor will change this, it does absolutely nothing to further benefit the Star Wars universe. It's basically kind of like
Yeah, I would like it to be a little more standalone. Not like any subtle references, and it still takes place in the world, but let it be more standalone. Let it tell its own story. No guest characters.
Right. But I think for sure that's definitely like the cul-de-sac of the Star Wars universe. It goes nowhere. It doesn't really benefit the overall universe. But it's a cool story. I do love it. No,
it definitely benefits. It definitely benefits because we get to see how they got the plans for the Death Star. And that does kind of do we? Well, you know what? We don't? There's a lot that we probably don't need. At the same time, I'm not going to be a bitch about it. I'm not going to sit there. But what was cool about it?
Yeah, I was going to mention real quick. I know it's really funny when they first announced Rogue One. It's like, it's about the people who stole the Death Star plans. We're like, the Bothans? It's like,
everyone thought Bothans. I thought Bothans. I made the joke, a lot of Bothans are going to die. And then someone's like, what? Are you a fan or what? I'm like, wait, fuck.
That should be Rogue One 2. Just call it Rogue One 2.
That should be a season. That should be a show for Disney Plus. Is the Bothans? That's what you call it.
Let it be animated.
Yeah, let it be animated, and it's just it's like a family sitcom. It's just like a bumbling idiot dad like Homer or Peter Griffin. I got these plants here. God, I don't understand.
Yeah, the Empire's chasing. It's like, hey Lois, I don't know why they're chasing.
What Star Trek Lower Decks is, make that the funny show of the Star Wars universe.
And every episode, a fuckload of Bothans just die.
But then it'll be like the series finale to Dinosaurs, where it's this comedy show's really depressing because they all die.
Because the way Mon Mothma explained that in Jedi, a lot of Bothans died to get us this information.
Who the fuck were the Bothans?
I know. You're like, who are the Bothans, man? What's going on? And I just googled Bothans, and the first thing that pops up is Rogue One Bothans.
See, everyone googled it.
Everyone, look. It's all I'm saying is the Bothans look a lot like they're kind of like cat-like creature, like lion type. Animals.
Yeah.
So that's going to be okay. That's going to be something to see there. They should, yeah.
The story deserves to be told. They deserve to have.
Have we ever seen a Bothan in live action? The background or something?
I don't think we have.
How have they not brought a Bothan into Star Wars animation or something?
Cassian Andor, the Andor series has to have a fucking Bothan in it.
Dude, yeah.
Right? There's got to be some Bothan commander. It's like, hello there. I'm Commander. What do you do? I'm a Bothan. Oh.
I steal data and plans for things.
And then here comes Jar Jar, right? Oh, Jar Jar just kind of comes into frame. You some people gonna die.
I read the tarot cards. You gonna die. You gonna die.
You some people gonna die. Okie day.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing: the Bothans and the Gungans, they don't have great race relations.
Oh man, and we, hey, we could touch upon some systemic historical racism. That could be a thing.
Yeah, and genocide. Some really heavy political topics.
HWAD Series says Watto.
Watto needs to come back in the Obi-Wan show.
Bothans.
He's gonna be on Tatooine. He's got to run into Watto.
You want me to sell you some gear? Are you going to...
I want Ewan McGregor to team up with Watto.
That would be funny. I would gladly take Watto to come back. I like Watto. I do a terrible Watto impersonation.
Now I'm reading something where they retcon. I guess so. Some guy Hidalgo.
Pablo Hidalgo.
Pablo
He is so fucking hated.
He's the most. I would argue he's the second most hated man in all of Star Wars. Besides Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathy gets a lot of hate, but there is like a loathing for Pablo Hidalgo. Because like Kathy doesn't say anything back when like all these guys come after her, but Pablo will like low key troll them from behind a privated account, and it makes them seethe with rage. Like that whole thing with Star Wars Theory was like crying about, and it's like, come on, dude.
That was a little uncool though. I didn't like that.
I don't think what he was really doing was making fun of him, but like I can see why
the other guy was. The
other guy definitely was. Yeah, the other guy definitely was. But like it might have been like low key shit posting, and then when people got really mad, like then he changed his Twitter banner just to fuck with them a little bit more. But it might have gotten out of control. I don't think he was doing it to be like inherently.
He's
mean.
The kind of guy who just should never be on Twitter.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of us who should never be on Twitter.
That is true. I'm just saying, like, him especially though.
Look at my feed today. Anyway,
your feed is entertaining. So
my feed is a fucking dumpster fire. Let's be fair.
It's great, But Hidalgo, he said something to SF Magazine a couple of years ago. He's like, "I'd like to finally clarify that the Bothans never stole any Death Star plans." So not to make a story about it, they just call attention to it in Return of the Jedi because the lead into Rogue One drew a lot of attention to a basic misunderstanding. So he's talking about people wanting Bothans to show up. The Bothans just provided information on the Death Star's location and status, and that the Emperor was to visit. Mon Mothma never once mentions plans. So that's his.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Like, fuck it. We still want to make fun of Bothans. Okay. Like,
yeah, we still want the Bothans.
We want to make a joke about the goddamn fucking Bothans. So all right, at least we know a little bit more about that. That's all good. I do want to. I saw that Making Star Wars did say here that when it came to Cassian Andor, let me find it here. Cassian killed the informant because he was injured. The only way out was up. If he was captured, which was inevitable, he'd have his mind read and the rebels would be exposed. The greater good. Ah, yes, the greater good.
Yeah. Well, I thought what he said also about Rogue One, the reason why I had trouble production is because Disney changed the order after the chefs already started the cooking.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It makes sense. I wonder what changed in their minds. Where they're like, okay, we agreed upon making this type of movie, but we're going to change it as you're already getting production going, already starting filming stuff. Like, why? What internally changed? Like, nope, we want this kind of movie now.
I don't know. I mean, it
was one of the rare cases where a movie with a trouble production actually turned out great. Because I love Rogue One. I think it's a great movie. But it's like,
was there merch? Was there merch for it? Because I mean, that could be something. Right, like that could be
there
something.
Was merch, yeah.
So, like for example, I was reading up more about the development history of Cowboy Bebop, and so Shinichiro Watanabe, like at first they had been financed by Bandai, and Bandai wanted toys, and so they were trying to they had to kind of figure out a way to develop the show to not just be for adolescent boys, but also more sophisticated adults, which is a line from the Wikipedia. And then ultimately Bandai pulled out and they were kind of left in development hell for quite some time until I think it was Bandai Digital came in, and they just wanted to do they didn't want to do toys. They just wanted to do the cartoon, the animated, which then allowed them to go back and kind of do it the way that they wanted to do it. So there is a lot that goes into merch and all this stuff. There's a lot that goes into the ancillary sales, and it's possible it is possible that what they had started working on was it was maybe way too dark.
Yeah, too dark and way too violent and depressing for toys.
Like the Saw Gerrera stuff was pretty dark. You know, when they did that to Bodhi, you know, when they put him in there with that was also the stupidest fucking thing in that whole movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. Yeah,
that was a that mind reader thing.
It should have just been like a tech thing. Like they broke his mind with technology. Yeah, like experimental armor, like some brain zappy things.
They could have done like they had their own version of the Imperial probe droid, you know, or like
but it was like a way more, way worse version that messes you up forever.
They could have also like they could have had one of those droids that they saw in A New Hope. They could have like just like K2SO, they could have caught it and reprogrammed it, you know, and like, okay, there we go. It kind of shows that the rebels are able to reprogram some of these. But I
guess the idea was for that character is that once he got whatever that creature did to him, it's like his mind was broken, basically. Like he was a little like frantic and a little fritzy, and like that was supposed to be his character because he got changed because of the creature.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that part was a bit choppy in the edit.
Yeah.
So that was the only part that I didn't really care for.
Also, what I love though that I think changed when Tony Gilroy took over and did the Reach, that everybody died. Everybody. Originally, Jyn Erso and Casimir were supposed to live. It's like, nope, all of them.
Really?
Died.
Well, I heard.
That's why I loved that movie.
I had heard that there was that they had contracts for sequels.
Really?
So, I think. I'd heard that.
Who's the girl that plays Jyn Erso?
Felicity Jones.
She's been pretty open that like she was set up to come back and do other things in the Star Wars universe, like before the movie came out, and then obviously she died.
Then obviously shit went down.
Yeah,
but you know what? The thing is, I thought they had a fitting and apt ending, and it worked out well. The only thing I didn't care for really in that movie was the Leia, de-aging. I thought was like not compared to Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing looks fantastic. And then they get to the Leia stuff, and the Leia stuff, you're like, all right, you know.
But I love how it's a direct lead into A New Hope, though.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Minutes after that movie starts.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
To me, I didn't mind the Leia CGI, though, because that came off, that I saw the movie just after, like, Carrie Fisher passed away, and I was like, I don't care. It just warmed my heart, even if it didn't look the best. I was like so depressed when she passed away, man. I was so upset.
Yeah,
I know the fact that she passed away like literally a couple days after the week after Rogue One came out was just was insane. But yeah, so there's a lot there I mean, look, Andor is going to be great when we get it here. We're going to get a trailer, I think, in the next 2 months, really 2.5 months.
Probably the Disney and Disney Plus Day.
The Disney Plus Day is going to give us probably a trailer. I'd say yeah, we're going to be pretty good on that one there, and I'm looking forward to what comes next. Let me just quickly get to some of these super chats. We'll keep it going. There's still a lot that I have to get through today. HBart's here, $2. Thank you. Says from Russia with love. Goldfinger are great. That is true. Gaily here once again saying, "Sup gang, you owe me that call in. May not happen tonight. We're still running. Lot to get through, man."
Glitch. That's like the exact same super chat.
No, he said it. He sent it again. So it's all right. Real Elmo here says, "I must be the only one in this goddamn world that didn't enjoy Skyfall that much." Yes.
Yeah. You know, you're right. That's about right. You are the only one.
It's not like I'm like, I love you. I love you, man. But like, yeah, I think you're the only one that didn't really care for fucking Skyfall. Thank you for that one. McLeod here with a 10 Canadian. Thank you, man. Says they are really going back to old school Bond a bit. If this final trailer or if this final trailer for No Time to Die is any indication, if the Secret Island and Malik doesn't scream Dr. No, then I don't know what does. It does, and it also.
I didn't watch the final trailer. How was it?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, after we end the show, we might finish the show by watching the trailer because it will probably get claimed, and then but I can just clip it out later, which I have to do now, which I don't like having to do, but I just have to do because it unfortunately happens. Yeah, so I have to just do that. But you know what? Maybe
I've not watched it yet because I was like, final trailer. I think I'm looking forward to No Time to Die. I'm not like super excited. It's like I want to watch every trailer the moment it comes out. You know.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get to that here. Okay, I just want to make sure it kind of jumped ahead a little bit here. God damn it, fucking StreamYard. I just re-upped my membership today for the next year, and I got a notification from my bank, and they're like, potential fraud alert. You have this pending charge of like $428, and I'm like, for what? Yeah. And it's like, oh, and then it says StreamYard. I'm like, oh, and they're like, if you decline this, we're gonna shut your card down. I'm like, well, I don't want that,
Right.
but I don't want to pay him the $428. Shit. So I got to figure that out. But because I was just going to drop it down to the 720p for the year. But yeah, I
Right.
just thought that was pretty funny today. All right, and then Command Unit here with 6 shekels. Thanks, buddy. Rogue One had a troubled production, so low expectations. I didn't go into that movie with low expectations, man. I don't look at like troubled productions as being a terrible thing until I see the movie. So
Yeah.
for me, going into it was like I was high. My girlfriend even bought me a Rogue One T-shirt. It's like the Death Star, and it's like the beach of Scarif, and like the Death Star is behind it. And it's like, but it's meant to be the moon, and you see like TIE fighters flying, you know, and I got to pull it out. I'll show you guys sometime, but it's like, I like it a lot. And one of the things I like to do when I go see Star Wars movies, I bought a Boba Fett football jersey back in 2015. So that's generally what I wear when I go to like the premiere of, the first showing of a Star Wars movie. So
Right.
it's like, I got my little bits that I like to do. My little game face stuff I like to put on, I like to tailgate a little bit before going in to see Star Wars. Yeah, anyway, no, I now want to go watch Rogue One again. God damn it. All right. Rational Skeptic here for $2. Thank you. Says Legacy of the Force novels need their own show. I would say write your local congressman. Maybe. Maybe you'll get that. They might look. They might end up doing something like that down the road. Mo Moon here for $2. Thank you, man. Says it was Bothans that took the deer from Athlon.
That
Probably.
made me laugh. I saw that when he super chatted. I was watching last night when you were talking about the deer and that was on your lawn.
Yeah. the dead fucking deer. The dead fucking deer on my lawn. Yeah. That was a crazy. Ryan here taking off then. He says, I'm having a good night, or I'm going to bed. Have a good night. Thanks a lot, buddy, for coming in. Really appreciate that. Command Unit here with 15 shekels. Thank you. My theory, Jar Jar was a general of the Gungan army before Phantom Menace, and his actions during service got him exiled. Binks series when. Here's the thing. I don't think he was a general. I think he was a soldier that was fucking the Gungan king's daughter. You know what I mean? She has a thing for simpletons. It's just that's her kink, and he has a really long tongue. I didn't see any other Gungan with a Gene Simmons length tongue. All right. But Jar Jar, that motherfucker has got a long ass
Jar Jar
tongue.
is a hero. He goes down.
He could hit, think about it, right? He could hit that spot. He could tone it. He could use that thing as like, not necessarily a weapon, but like a homing missile, it's all like, G-spot acquired, okie day. In like one shot. And like, it's like stay on target. Stay on target. I could just imagine like Jar Jar's trying to find the G-spot, and then all of a sudden Obi-Wan. Jar Jar, use the Force. Use the Force.
Jar Jar, you must be one with the Force.
What am I? Oh my God. We get it. Jesus. I say the worst things here. And I want to get this show on Sirius XM. Late night movie talk on Sirius XM is my goal. Dude, so, yes. I mean, why not, right? Andrew here with $5 a minute. Thank you. Says they all had to die. The film was fundamentally about sacrifice. That is very true.
Yes.
But I will say K2SO's death is what got me the most in that movie. Because like his sacrifice, I was like, no. Because
Donnie Yen was pretty rough for me too. When Donnie Yen goes out, I was like,
yeah. Fourth year says our Gungans hung. That could, you know what? The long tongue could be their mating ritual.
Right.
Hold on here.
Really?
Jar Jar banged Julia in the Clone Wars. Which one is Julia?
What?
Which one is Julia?
It's probably another Gungan.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, well, I was gonna say, Jason also said that is fascinating if that's true. That they wrote a carbonite bomb ending for Rogue One. Cassian bombs the ship, and they're all trapped in space, frozen for years until after Return of the Jedi. That would have been fascinating if they actually went with that version.
Queen Julia.
A carbonite bomb, they all get like frozen in stasis for like 30, 40 years.
That would have been that would have been
30,
a little bit too
years.
Captain America in my, it's all like you carbonite bomb the beach is scary. It'd be cool. It's like, it's cool in theory, but to actually have it be a thing, I think would just be a little bit on the side. Let's see here. Hold on. Command Unit says, my problem with this Bond is the lack of camp. I mean, I get you, but I'm okay with there not being camp. I like there to be a bit more, of a thing there. But that's my take on it. Totally get it here. Melissa lowered to $2. Matt's predictions on Spidey's numbers, and will Toby make it good? I think if Spider-Man holds, it could be the first $1 billion movie with the pandemic.
Yeah. That's a movie that people will go rush out to go see in the theater.
Yeah. Looking at just the reaction to the trailer, and then will Toby make it good? Well, that's if Toby's in it. But we're going to be talking a bit more here in a few. I want to get through the Frank Oz story. And then I got something about Charlie Cox with Daredevil.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So we don't know, but I really do feel like they are kind of throwing everything at the wall with this movie, and it all has me really excited. So with any luck, it will be great, and we're going to go from there. Okay, hold on here. Some duck broad. I'm not kidding.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I looked it up. She's like the queen of some planet Berdota. I guess Jar Jar went over, gave her some assistance in a few other ways, if you know what I mean.
Oh, right. Yeah. Her.
I remember
right.
this.
She had a thing for Jar Jar, man. Like, here, I'll bring up the picture. Whoa, that was
a picture of them kissing. What the hell?
Yeah, RJ's like, yeah, interspecies erotica. That's what I'm talking about. Fuck, Todd. Jar Jar. There we go. This is what RJ's search history looks like.
Jesus Christ. There's a worse picture though. There's a worse picture I found where Jar Jar's naked.
Oh,
is it canon?
No, it's like concept art.
Oh, okay.
But it's really disturbing to look at.
That is that's pretty bad. So all right, let's take a look here at this Frank Oz thing. This actually got me pretty sad. I wasn't very happy about this. Because but it does make sense. That's the whole thing. Is it does make sense about what we see from this. So Frank Oz just says Disney doesn't want me to do the Muppets anymore. Now, what I find to be interesting here, according like all of the articles I've seen about this really have brought up Kermit, but he didn't voice Kermit the Frog. So, I'm sure he might have helped out with the puppeteering work, but like usually the voices were also working on the puppeteering.
Well, so Kermit's a recognizable face for the articles and stuff. It's like when you think Muppets, you think Kermit.
No, you think Frank Oz, you think Miss fucking Piggy.
I know, I agree. Yeah,
I'm just saying, you can't sit there and go like, oh, nah, I saw that shit. Anyway, now he says here, I'd love to do the Muppets again, but Disney doesn't want me. Frank Oz said to The Guardian in an interview, he says that, again, he did Cookie Monster, Grover, Fozzie Bear, Bert, and Yoda, which is all iconic.
Yeah, he like outside of Jim Henson, he's the heart of the Muppets.
Yeah. And, but he makes an interesting comment about Jim Henson in this article too. So, he says here, Sesame, they haven't asked him anything, for 10 years. He says, they don't want me because I won't follow orders, and I won't do the kind of Muppets they believe in.
Right.
And I mean, the thing is like the way that, if you look at Muppets Now, that show is god awful. We talked about that briefly last night. Muppets Now is exceptionally terrible.
It's not very good.
It's like, I couldn't make it through more than like 3 episodes. I have no desire to go back and watch any of it ever again. Doug Days came out today. The five episode shorts for Doug Days, mere days after Ed Asner passed away, unfortunately.
I know, such sad timing.
But my daughters and I watched it, I think 3 times today, all 5 episodes, 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Because they're so short. They're like 11 minutes each, right? But with credits, they're like 8 minutes each. So they're really easy to get through. But it's like, again, those are really good. And that's like the kind of stuff people want to see. They don't want to see new interpretations of these characters. I'm sorry. Like that whole argument about new interpretations is generally bullshit. What they want is they want the kind of stuff that they grew up with. They want the kind of stuff that, the Great Muppet Caper, Muppets Take Manhattan, A Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island.
I'll take Muppets in Space too. I love Muppets in Space.
Okay, Muppets in Space. No, Muppets in Space was a fun one. It was. I liked Muppets in Space. But he says here that this is what he says. He says that the soul is not there.
Yeah.
He says the soul is what make things grow and be funny. And if you look at Muppets now, there was no soul in that. There was another, and then look, the 2009 Muppets movie that came out that Jason Segel co-wrote. I liked it. I thought that one
it's an amazing movie.
That was a great movie. I think Nicholas Stoller did the direction on that. And then they did the sequel to that. That was what Muppets Most Wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was god awful. That was.
It wasn't nearly as good.
It wasn't. No, the Muppets movie. But I recently tried rewatching the 2009 movie, and I liked it, but it didn't age as well as it could have. And again, a lot of that had to do with the fact that it's kind of like my same problem with the new Paw Patrol movie. I know. I have kids. This is why this shit ends up in my.
I'm curious to where this is going.
Okay, so the biggest problem with the Muppet movie from 2009 was that half the movie was spent getting the gang back together, and that's the whole problem.
You don't have enough time with.
You don't have enough time with these characters that you love, and they spend all the time about the kid whose name I forget and his relationship with his brother, which I understand is like everything, and I get that, and I liked it. But it's like you want to see a Muppet movie about the fucking Muppets. You don't want to see a Muppet movie with a new character that is the focal point, but you're waiting for Fozzie. You're waiting for Animal. You're waiting for Miss Piggy and Kermit to have their blowouts. You're waiting for all that stuff to take place. And they just didn't do it. And
I can understand that complaint. I will say that, like, the Muppets movie from 2011, it's like really like it was in reverence to the original Muppet show and like getting back to those good old days, getting the Muppets back, because like I liked how the movie was a commentary on like how has the world moved on from the Muppets? Does the world really need Muppets anymore? Like, what's the point of them being around, right? So I don't know. I think it is a legitimate criticism to like not have the gang around for like a majority of the movie, but I like the commentary, like the story direction they went in. And
look, Amy Adams was great, Jason Segel was great. All the cameos were great.
The music especially.
The music was great, and that was done by the other half of Flight of the Conchords, Brett McKenzie.
Oh,
because you have Jermaine.
You can tell,
and you can totally tell that it was him. It still needed a little bit of Jermaine Clement, because I'm just a big fan of Flight of the Conchords. But it was a good movie. I liked it quite a bit. I think again the issue here is just that like they were trying to reboot the Muppets when you don't need to reboot the Muppets.
Just keep it going.
And then they did, the Muppets have always kind of experimented with different things. But according to Henson here, he says here, like, Disney bought Henson's beloved characters in 2004. And Oz says it's a demarcation. I'm not too sure what that word is, but it's between the Jim Henson's Muppets and the Disney Muppets. There's an inability for corporate America to understand the value of something they bought. They never understood with us. It's not just about the puppets. It's about the performers who love each other and have worked together for many years.
That is true. Puppeteering's hard. It's a very hard thing.
It is. Oh yeah. And he says here that he sees like with Jim Henson that it's kind of tied into Jim Henson's death. He says the Disney deal is probably what killed Jim. It made him sick.
Right.
Eisner was trying to get Sesame Street 2, which Jim wouldn't allow, but Jim was not a dealer. He was an artist, and it was destroying him. It really was. Disney never got the Sesame Street characters, but Oz laments he's not able to work with them either. He says, I miss them, and I love them. And look, and that's the thing.
That's a very interesting thing to say, that Jim Henson died because of the business dealings with Disney.
Yeah. Stress.
Yep. Yeah, stress.
Stress will do it to you, man. Like, stress will do it to you. That shit will fucking.
I'm trying to remember, what did Jim Henson pass away from?
It says in the article here, towards the, it was like,
because I know he was sick.
Yeah, it was streptococcal. I don't know, toxic shock syndrome.
I have no clue what that is.
It's a rare but serious bacterial infection. It can develop very quickly into low blood pressure, multiple organs, or how do you get it? Is usually associated with skin infections, childbirth, and surgeries. Infection occurs at a site of a trauma or can follow viral infections. Influenza.
See, I don't know if like that's not like a stress thing,
Well, it's just like how quickly does it develop? If you're here's the thing, if you're stressed out, your immunity is low. If you are in a constant state of stress, it causes a lot of damage to your body.
Yep.
And it does hurt your immune system. So it's like you can get sick, you can get things. That is part of it, unfortunately. But like and it's also possible that Frank Oz is I don't want to say bitter or cynical necessarily. I believe he has every reason to feel the way that he does.
Yeah.
So I'm not faulting him at all, nor am I being critical, but I think like what it is there is a justifiable frustration.
frustration
Absolutely.
and anger,
Because
when you pour your entire life into shaping the most iconic characters in children's entertainment, like Cookie Monster, for God's sakes, and you put your love and soul in that character and it's being taken away from you because of corporatization, that sucks. That's not fair, and it's a shame. They should bring Frank Oz back because he is a legacy member from that old era of Muppets. He's an integral part, and I think he could be a guiding hand. I mean, I don't want to make him a comparison, but he can be like a Kevin Feige. Why is he not more involved in the modern Henson Company? Let him take charge of those characters and guide where they should be going, or at least have him be like a consultant or something. Give the man something out of respect,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for sure. And like that article said, I think like Matt said too, he's got probably righteous anger, at what happened with Jim and how that all went down. I mean,
yeah,
what he said there about Sesame Street kind of hit me because it was like he wasn't. If he was that serious about Sesame Street, he probably didn't want to let the Muppets go. But it was,
it was really Sesame Street that got him the hardest.
Yeah, well, that ended up that's owned by HBO now, so that's an AT&T property. But they acquired the rights to that years ago, and
that's such a weird thing how they're not under the same umbrella because they're all Muppets. It's so weird.
It's just it's just it's corporations, man. It's how this stuff works. It really is. So it's tragic nonetheless. I feel like Frank Oz is he's angry at the companies and he's angry
Do
at
you think this is going to affect Yoda, by the way? Because didn't he come back for The Last Jedi?
He did. Yeah, he's come back. He's come back multiple times. He
so
voiced Yoda.
Is this going to affect Yoda in the future and future appearances?
No.
I don't think so.
So he's not going to come back?
No, I mean he might if they ask him to come back. But how? I mean, when are we gonna? Are we gonna see Yoda and Andor? Are we gonna get any Jedi in Andor? Are we gonna get
Obi-Wan?
Are we gonna get Yoda? And I mean, if we get Yoda in Bad Batch, I mean, doesn't Tom Kane voice him? But Tom Kane had a stroke.
Yeah,
so I know he's recovering. I know he's recovering. He's recovering, but I don't know if he'll ever come back to be able to voice again. But he did the Bad Batch. Had the first episode of Bad Batch had the announcer from Clone Wars. That was also Tom Kane.
Yep.
I don't know if it's someone who sounded. I got to go back and look again, but it's I don't know if that was someone who sounded like him.
No, that was Tom Kane.
I mean, that was him. So, but then again, they might have recorded that before the stroke because that it takes a long time for animation. I don't know. But anyway, we look at it. I think it's I agree with Frank Oz, the frustration and everything else. I'd love to see them bring back old school Muppets, but why don't we dive into some super chats real quick, get into the next stuff because we still got a lot to get through tonight. Yeah. And again, I really appreciate everyone's support here. We got Command Unit with another super chat. Jar Jar was promoted to Grand General in Phantom Menace. I forgot that is true. And then I did see Jason make the comment, if I could find it again. There we go. Jar Jar fucks. Right, I saw that. I'm like, yeah. Bite me saying was the Disa on a porn Hubza? Hold on. Rational skeptic here. Jar Jar rule 34.
No, thank you. I will not be Googling
that. There we go. Thank you very much for that, guys. All right, Andrew Dunbar here with another $10, man. Thank you so much. He says, just to check that everyone is on the same page. Chirrut, Donnie Yen, and Baze Malbus were on the down low, right? It was not a gay if it's underway sort of thing. I did not get that.
Read it that way.
I mean, I didn't get that vibe personally. I didn't get the vibe that they were like that. I'm not saying they
had a close relation. They were like brother.
Yeah, but the thing is, two men being close doesn't inherently mean that they're fucking.
Right. No, that's true.
And that is
some people could read it that way if they wanted to.
It's but look at the Luca argument. You had Luca and Alberto. And always oh, it's queer coding. It's these two characters. It's no, they're friends in a bonding male relationship. Yep. That's not. It's platonic. I mean, platonic is a fucking word. It has not everything has to be. Sexual.
I think it speaks to the fact that oftentimes in stories, the LGBT community is looking for something to relate to, and they're looking for representation. Oftentimes, it's a case of basically some stuff isn't providing what they actually want, and they want to feel more involved. It's
I know
I see
Tumblr
myself
shipping.
in this. Yeah,
I know Tumblr shipping, and that's kind of made it a problem too. Like, I
well, it's not
get
necessarily
that.
a problem. I think it's a failure of entertainment that's not providing adequate
Well,
enough representation. To where it's like they have to read in other things to get to feel accepted. You know?
no, I get that. I get that. But it's also a fucking kids movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And like, not everything, like, I'm not deriding LGBTQ. I think there should be representation, but a lot of times, like, not everything has to have that political coding. Not everything does. Like, you know what? I want, if it happens, treat it as being normal, but just move on past it. That's the whole point. If you want to be seen as normal, treat it as normal. That's the reality of it. And by drawing all the extra attention to it, that even the creator of the movie is like, it's not there, so stop it. And people are like, no, I don't believe you. And it comes across as entitlement is what it is. And I get the shipping thing. It doesn't hurt anybody. I know Mark Hamill has said, if you think Luke Skywalker is gay, then he's gay. Like, and that's fine. But it's like, you know, it's the people out there that demand that kind of stuff to be canon. And then that's where the issue
Yeah,
comes.
no, that's different. Then that's a different level. If you have a head canon you want to read into something more than what other people might, that's perfectly fine. But don't bully creatives. Don't bully people and be like, no, make it canon. This is the way it needs to be.
Make them care.
That happened to like Voltron and so many different cartoons and other stuff, movies. It's like, or look at the Anthony Mackie situation with Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh my God. Yeah. Bucky flirted with Falcon's sister and the internet lost their shit. You know, he said that's what's he doing. I know.
They wanted Steve and Bucky to get together this entire time too. People were pissed at Endgame, like, oh, he got together with Peggy. He left Bucky like that. That's out of character. That's bad writing. He should have been with Bucky.
I know. Never mind the fact that, like, I think he was a low key slamming Scarlett Johansson in that, or Black Widow. I think that was the thing. I think they had sex. If you go back and watch Winter Soldier, man, go back and watch Winter Soldier. They were straight up like, he was like, well, Peggy's my gal, but she's, 100. And I'm still a man. You know, I have needs. And then Black Widow's like, I can't get pregnant. She makes it. I mean, look, I get it. The Red Room reference. I get it. Like, it's meant to be this tragic thing. I understand that entirely. Like, they sterilized her. But at the same time, when you've got two people like in their top physical form with one another in a very intense environment where like adrenaline and all that shit's running high. And then she was like, I can't get pregnant. It's that whole notion of, wait, really? Like, I mean,
do you want to try?
Like, I got 20 minutes, like,
no, I'm pretty sure
he can sit there and go, I got super serum, if you know what I mean.
I'm gonna be honest. I truly believe that Captain America was a virgin until Endgame.
Yeah, well, they want to look. Here's the thing with that. They want you to believe it. All right, that is the propaganda of Steve Rogers. Okay, but much like Jar Jar, Steve Rogers fucks. He kissed. Come on, you tell me he kissed Agent 31 or Agent 13, right? Emily Van Camp, right?
That was very weird.
That was a little awkward, but you get it because they hook up in the comics, But it's like, all right, what was happening between Winter Soldier and this? You know what? I'm pretty sure. Like, look, you're telling me that Steve Rogers is he kept loyal to Peggy, but he knew Peggy had a husband and she had kids, she had dementia. He kept loyal on that front, but it's like, are you telling me Peggy Carter at that point in time would have been like, Steve, stay pure for me, Steve? No, Peggy Carter would be like, I'm old, I'm dying, get your dick wet. Like, get out there and do it. Like, come on, you're Captain America. Fuck. Like, literally, who's to say that, like, she's in an old folks home? They've been friends for a while, maybe before the dementia set in. Old folks homes are rampant with like old people's sexual activity. That's not even a bad thing to say. Like, by all means, like, get it on. All right. But so it's like, who's to say that he didn't, like, mount Peggy at one point in time? Like, just like, well, I mean, I'm here and you want it and I love you and you love me and this is a thing and I mean, like,
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, never turn down Haley Atwell. That's what I'm saying.
No, I agree. All
right, that's 100%. The whole roundabout message here is never turn down Haley Atwell at 37 or 107.
400.
Don't turn down Haley Atwell.
Yeah, I'm gonna be upset though if she is dating Tom Cruise. I'm just gonna say.
I am too, but for completely not the reasons why you might think. Like my reasoning for that has everything to do with just it's just like Scientology.
Sure, that's what it is. Sure.
You know what? I'm not a jealous man. All right, RJ, I'm not a jealous man. But no. Anyway, here. All right, H-Bar, it's $5, man. It says even it's wrong by today. It's funny at times watching Connery with his Bond girls. That is true. Andrew here says no, sepsis killed Henson, which is it's very similar to toxic shock as well. So I get what you're saying there. Hold on. Max for some reason jumped in super late where he is, but we'll get to him in a second here. All right. Daniel Scott says, I recently watched the Raquel Welch episode of Muppets. As a kid, I did not realize how suggestive that show was. I'm surprised it got by the censors. Yeah, man. That I remember some episodes being a bit more racy. Because the thing is, the show was meant for kids and for families, right? Yeah. And you got to put jokes in there that the adults are going to get.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of there's a lot of humor like that as time goes on. So thank you very much for that, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to get through some of these. Okay, let's see. Jason here from MakingStarWars.net says Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge has Frank Oz voicing Yoda still, I think. I don't remember Yoda being in that, to be honest with you. Oh, sorry, Tales from Galaxy's Edge. I haven't seen it. That's what it is. Okay. All right. And then Command Unit here says 40K did this well. Yarrick being gay and married. Cool. And then H-Barts here says, I've been called gay before, even though I'm not. I mean, like, you know, I hung out with my best friend a lot, like when I wasn't dating. And I think my stepdad for a while thought that, like, you know, is like Matt going through a phase. I'm like, just because I'm single and I like Spice Girls doesn't mean that I'm gay. I like 5 hot British chicks singing at me. All right. Like, back off, dude. And then now I have 2 kids. So clearly. All right. And then Daniel here says, no, Natasha asked Steve if that was his first kiss since 1945. Yeah. In my headcanon is they were having sex. Okay. Don't fuck with that, Daniel. Don't fuck with that. All right.
Well, there was that scene though, where like they were in like the shower, like Natasha just got out of the shower. They were all like disheveled after the Winter Soldier thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
they were. Come on.
Remember when they went to Sam's apartment? So
they were low key doing it. All right. They were low key.
Poor Sam had to listen to that.
Or it definitely happened in the 5 years from the snap because they were both depressed. Natasha lost her family. You know, they needed to cope. Needed to cope.
Just sad sex.
Sex is great therapy.
Got a little drunk one night. They went out. You know.
Yeah, like because they kind of had that moment with like the peanut butter sandwich. You know.
Right.
It's like, you know, a little bit of jelly between that bread.
They're like, I know you can't get pregnant, but we got to try to repopulate.
Woo!
There we go. Hey, what's up, man?
Yes, I got my tickets for tomorrow. I went
you're going to see Shang-Chi.
Yeah, huh? I was like, how am I going to see it this weekend? Because I'm going away. So I'm probably going to stream right after I watch it tomorrow night. It's going to be later, though, because I want to talk about it before I leave, too. It's my first movie in the theater since the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So I'm real excited. And then I went to go, my wife's like, because we have that Cinemark pass. And I was like, I can't buy it here. You have it on your app. She's like, I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. And she went to check out and it was $0. So I'm getting to see it for $0 because basically Cinemark's been charging my credit card.
Yeah, I have a bunch. I have a Cinemark too. And I have a bunch of tickets like racked up. Rolled over from it, so I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so when I go tomorrow night,
she's like, bring up the debit card because I haven't been using credit lately. And then she's like, oh, it says $0. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm like, that was the thing I paid. I probably have a bunch on there. So it's great. I'm such in a good mood now.
Well, that's good. And
really
maybe
late.
and Daniel here makes a great comment. Says maybe Steve just hit it from the back. We're talking about the Utah approach. Anyway, if you have laughed at all during this particular 2 hours of debauchery, please feel free to leave a like.
What I have a question though. That when are you guys planning to see? Because I know you're all excited for it.
I'm gonna tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna figure out like what when I can go tomorrow, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you guys are lucky. I'm probably not gonna be able to watch it till Saturday.
If only it was available to watch on Disney Plus.
Yes.
I would watch it
No,
there.
I'm glad it's not. I'm glad. Even though I like it, I want this movie to really succeed. So, and that any extra little thing it can do to get good box office.
But, well, like I said earlier, if it doesn't hit 50 million plus, I think we're in danger territory. I mean, 40 would still be respectable for that movie. I'm speaking like in general, like other releases for the rest of the year. So
I think they're going to more look at the second weekend because everyone they know is going to.
Yeah.
I think they're not going to.
I think that's a big talk is that how much these films dip in their second weekends.
Well, the big dips come from when you do have a VOD option. Of course, there's big dips altogether, but really seeing theater only 2 weeks in a row. So, you're right though, RJ. They're definitely looking at it, but I think we'll be okay if it has a strong second.
I don't know, man. All these other movies are already starting to move. I think it could be a domino effect where like that's the chain reaction that gets everyone moving out of.
They should.
On the success, I agree with that.
They should pay for pre-order tickets on Fandango with shots or something. You get notification of your shot, and then you get a pre-order ticket to a movie.
Oh, like if you're vaccinated, you get a free ticket.
Yeah, if you proof of, I don't know how that would work, but that would be a good way to get people back.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm doing this for Spider-Man.
Right. Good. Yeah. That's good. There you go. That should be the marketing tactic there. Do it for Spider-Man. I should.
Well, he got his little prick on his finger from a spider.
All right. Okay. So we're coming up on 2 hours here. Let's move on. Do you want to hang out for the next bit here, Max?
Yeah, I'm in here for 10 minutes. I've got to go to bed soon, but I'm just like super happy because I was like trying to figure out when I'm going to do it, and I'm like I just checked out the movie theaters. Although in my area there were a lot of empty, not the first showings, but the showings after the beginning ones. There's lots of seats open. Yeah. So I was like,
it makes sense because if it's Thursday night, everyone's going to go to the first available showing. To be fair,
yeah. I'm taking a look here at my theater.
But 8:40, I'm going 8:40 tomorrow night.
Yeah, the first showings in my town in Vegas, they're sold out pretty much.
Yeah, mine were like 75-80% full.
I'm trying to check mine out, but for some reason the website's like
I'm gonna wear a hoodie and my mask and gloves. No, not gloves, but my hoodie and a mask just to be safe. Right. Even though I'm vaccinated, just because I worry about it for my parents.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of shows. It goes by my place. It starts at 6 and goes all the way to 11, and there's like a show, literally multiple shows per hour. Oh, so wow. Yeah, there's like multiple screens. Yeah, it's not. What's the 6 p.m.? Let me see what the 6 p.m. lineup is. Almost sold out. 6 p.m. is almost sold out. 6:30 p.m. Let's see, almost sold out. 6:55 p.m. for my place. The front 3 rows, which are like past the open, the places no one wants to sit, those are all wide open. Practically everything else is sold out. So yeah, that's quite a bit. Let's just take a look here at the 940 just to be whatever. About halfway full. So, and these aren't massive theaters. They only have like maybe 60 seats or whatever. Because like they're renovated theater, but still that's
yeah. I just checked mine. The IMAX showing is pretty much like 75% full. The one showing at a different premium theater, it's like completely sold out. There's only like 5 seats left. So
yeah, people are wanting to go see this movie. Again, what you have is Marvel loyalty. Yep. That's what it boils down to is Marvel loyalty. And
I feel like people are ready finally, even though there's still craziness with everything. I think people are ready. At least I am.
Yeah, hold on. You know what I want to see? Hold on. It's yeah, okay. So what I want to look at here is because, there was whatever it's called, fucking Nerderotic had said yesterday, his showtime, his screening in Southern California, didn't want to say where, right? But
Andre from Midnight said the same thing. He said he went to go see, and his reaction was not a triumph. And someone asked, how full was the theater? He said, practically empty.
Not a triumph.
Yeah.
God damn it. That shows so much your bias there.
All right. So let me just take a quick look here at because I'm looking at the big theater in San Diego, the one that I know always does well. First, there's a lot of open seats that are available. Yeah. It will probably fill up closer to tomorrow.
Well, the question is, how many people really do reserved seating anyway? How many people actually buy tickets in advance right now?
I think that's a pretty big thing right now. Because
I've started doing it.
I only have the ability. To do reserve seating where I'm at.
Same.
Well, they have the recliner seats and stuff.
All the seats
Tim Stock here says, just came on to tell Max that Grace Randolph is waiting on you. She's at your door. She just twatted me. I mean Twitter. There we go.
All right. Well, I got to keep it quiet.
All right. You finally.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Oh.
I would just want to talk movies with her. Can we do some movie math on the couch?
Oh, good thing your wife's asleep.
Yeah, she doesn't watch your show. She doesn't watch
That's probably for the best. Just all right, let's
go beyond the trailer.
Yeah,
do some movie math.
Fuck off. All right, let's talk here. Oh wait, actually, hold on. I need no, never mind. It's all good. So there was a big thing today, Charlie Cox with Daredevil, and this was a big thing. A lot of people were talking about like, oh, time for the body language experts to chime in. Because there's been that conversation that it was Charlie Cox in No Way Home in the trailer, and I'm like, who? Because I watched the new Rockstars video on it, and I saw him start talking about it, and I was like, what are you getting at here with this? Because you don't really see, like, you could tell that wasn't Matt Murdock. Like they were like, oh, is that Matt Murdock right there? The arms, the hairy arms, like it's like, no, he's slamming down paperwork. Like that's not going to be a lawyer.
No, it's probably another detective. But regardless, he's in the movie. Like I can tell you straight up, I like 100% believe that he's in the movie. Everything's pointing to he's in this movie. Like I think I don't want to say it's a fact because it's not, but like I really think he's in the movie.
Well, so we'll play this clip from comicbook.com, and this is what people are talking about, like bringing out the body language. But there's also another clip from another interview that might give a bit more. I know we'll just see what you guys have to say about this.
Have to ask a Daredevil question. We've talked Daredevil plenty before, but the Spider-Man trailer came out, and there's a scene some people think may include the forearms of Charlie Cox. I have a picture of it right here. So Charlie Cox with the world as your witness. Are those your forearms? I mean, I've seen forensic scientists trying to break it down. So
I can promise you those are not my forearms.
There you have it. Those forearms do not belong to Charlie Cox.
Mighty
fine forearms he has, but those
mighty fine forearms, they are not my forearms.
Awesome. Charlie, that is all I had for you today, man.
Thanks, Adam.
Now that clip to me, it's
not a denial that he's not in the movie though. So no, it's not me.
It's not a denial. Yeah, it's not a denial. But at the same time, it's like that was such a dumb fucking question to ask. Because if you pay attention to the trailer at all, it's like the lawyer wouldn't slap that.
Get clicks from it.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because fans, like, even when I did my trailer reaction, I thought it. Even when I did my trailer reaction, I thought it was Matt Murdock for a split second because I wasn't thinking. I was just looking at it like, oh my god. I thought it was like a tease. A lot of people thought that, so it makes sense to ask that question because a lot of fans were speculating about that. So
I went back and I've just fucking watched the trailer again, and you see the guy walking. Now you don't see his face. That is true. It's a darkened face. You don't see his face at the time, but it's just kind of, I don't know. Thought that was really kind of dumb. Bradley here says it'd be cool to see him, but I hope he isn't in it. This made me skeptical though. Well, there's another clip here. So let's see what this says.
It would be a sin for me not to bring this up and ask, but I just want your thoughts. Like, do you get a kick out of seeing your name trending on Twitter all week and like people breaking down theories about you being in the next Spider movie. Do you get a throw out there? Or you kind of just not pay attention to it?
So I'm not on social media, so I don't have the same awareness about it as probably other people do.
That's his
but
problem.
Obviously I hear about it. You know, my mum will tell me about it, and my wife is aware of it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I see it as a massive. It makes me feel very grateful that people care that much. You know, I also like. It makes you know, I wouldn't want to ruin something either way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
So it makes me a little anxious in that regard, you know, because so it's a difficult, you know, so it's a difficult thing to talk about. You know, all I would say is like, I guess everyone, myself included, is just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Not a denial. Not a denial.
Come on, man.
That one seems pretty.
The stammering and the mannerism.
Well,
But did you?
He has to be careful because if he wants plans, you know, it's just like the Snyder thing. Before they can announce it, they want it on their terms. If he's coming,
that's
back.
why
So
that's why he didn't give an answer. That's why he was stammering like a weirdo. You know, it's like, oh, I don't answer this. You know,
I'm not on social media, but like my wife is and my mom is, and I hear about it.
I wouldn't want to ruin it either way.
Yeah, you know, like why would you? I mean, okay, so like to break that down, that's a very political, politically savvy way of saying it. But what got me though was if you look at the other guy, the interviewer, and like the grin on his face, you know, the grin there, and then Charlie was reacting to that grin, right? Because like that's the whole point. Even though they're away from each other, there was an excitement there, because he's like. You could tell he's trying to figure it out. And I'm not trying to go full on like body language expert here, but you could still see it's like that guy had a huge enthusiastic grin on his face, and that shit gets infectious. You know, it is. It's infectious. When someone is like, you know, I'll make a dumb joke here and I'll laugh and I'll look at the comments and I'll see like some people that are really laughing along with it. And it's like, those are the people that always laugh because we have a connection, you know? And so it's like, there's an enthusiasm there. If you can feel it, you can go with it. And, I think he's like, I will fully admit I will scream in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
I will scream. What's that Richard Grant thing? We pumped our fists in the air.
Dude, yeah.
Because I absolutely adore Daredevil. I absolutely adore Charlie Cox, and that is look. I know, like
he's close to the level as Wolverine, like Hugh Jackman Wolverine as the casting.
Well, it's really weird though. It's so weird hearing Charlie Cox do interviews in his normal voice because he sounds nothing like Matt Murdock. It's like, is this the same person? Their voices are so different, you know, because the accent.
So a little bit here. Andrew here with $5, man. Thank you. Says, you know, it would be even cooler to see the mystery man would be Soapy Smith.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe Soapy Smith. That'd be definitely something there. I would love to see that. And then also here, so Adam's asking if he's in it, will it relate to the Netflix show or will it be a clean slate?
Yeah, I talked about this in the video I did a few days ago. The general idea is that they're going to keep the same general continuity, but they might retool a couple things to fit better in the MCU. But generally, they're going to acknowledge that the events happened before, right? So let's say they do another Daredevil continuation, which they're probably thinking about doing. It's probably already in pre-production or like pre-development phases right now. It probably would continue with the season 3 cliffhanger with Bullseye. That would be your first season, him fighting Bullseye. So,
I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that but my only is where would it go? Because I would want that to still be like the hardcore or, you know.
Well, that's the big question they're asking right now because they don't know if they want to put it on Hulu or Disney Plus. That's the question they're asking themselves right now. So I would keep very close eyes on the Hawkeye show and then wait and see what they do with Echo. Those are going to be the most important thing. Oh, well, and She-Hulk too.
I think Moon Knight as well. Moon Knight, because Moon Knight's supposed to be pretty.
Yeah, Moon Knight as well, to see what kind of tone, what kind of direction they can go in on Disney Plus in terms of like ratings and content. Yeah,
I think well, Moon Knight's going to push it, but the thing I was hearing from, I mean, this is coming in from Mikey Sutton from a long time ago, and he was saying that Daredevil is going to be on, like, they want to move it off of, they want to reboot it, but for FX, they want it to be like that's where like the, you know, like the Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Punisher stuff is going to be. is over there. Now, I don't know specifically if that's going to fly because, I mean, look, the reality of it is this. They bought 20th Century Fox not only for its library, but definitely for X-Men to have access to those characters and to have a distribution center for R-rated material.
Especially for Deadpool stuff.
Yeah, Deadpool was a big factor in that. And so like Deadpool will not be released through Marvel Studios Buena Vista. It will be released through 20th Century Studios. And that is where all of that darker, all of that darker stuff is going to go to.
So wait. So if they do like Deadpool 3, you won't see the Marvel Studios logo whatsoever?
No, you'll see in association with Marvel Studios, like whatever you would see normally on whatever Deadpool's intro has now, like whatever that.
Okay. It would just be different. Instead of this in association with Marvel, be Marvel Studios, like a different. They'll probably come with like a new graphic or logo,
something like that. Yeah. And then Holy Cura here says, "Is it even doable legally because it's a Netflix property?" Here's the thing: it's not a Netflix property.
No, this is where ABC Television made it.
ABC Television made it in association with Marvel Television. So ABC Television, like again, they have a joint. They're also in the same parent company. Yeah. Netflix just acquired the distribution rights, and they did put up funding for the show. So that's on there. But again, now that it's been 2 years and that cool off period has gone away for everything, then what you have is they can keep the continuity. They can move it over there. They have the ability to run with it. And what
they can pluck actors out. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I
heard that Vincent D'Onofrio signed a big contract with Disney now. Like he's going to be like
said that? Okay, who said that?
Well, there's a guy out there named Levy who's a Daredevil insider talking about this openly. Like it's been corroborated by several different people, right? So
I don't know.
Well, there is those rumors that he's supposed to be in Hawkeye, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I heard that's actually supposed to be Kingpin now. That was the last thing. That was from a couple weeks ago. Is that it was supposed to be Kingpin popping up in Hawkeye. Episode 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which episode 5? No. I think it's like episode 5 because that's supposed to come out like right before
No Way Home.
Yeah, because No Way. Yeah. So November 24th is the first episode of Hawkeye, and then you've got the 1st, the 8th, it's the 3rd. Yeah, the 5th would be on the 22nd. The 15th would be the 4th. So the 5th would probably end up. That's coming out right the week after Spider-Man.
Okay.
Right. So Spider-Man opens on the 17th. So then you've got 5 days until that episode of Hawkeye drops. And so that could have some tie-in with Spider-Man. Yeah. And then the season finale for Hawkeye is going to be on December 29th. So right before the beginning of the year. So there's definitely a lot going on with everything. I do kind of agree with, that with Bradley, it might, maybe like a smaller cameo. Could be something there. Just because it's like, you gotta be careful with these things. They obviously don't want it to overshadow. That's kind of unfortunately like where it's at is like, they also have to worry about the overshadowing. Like, but what, I don't know what we're going to see out of any of this, to be honest with you. It could be there. It could not be there. All I hope is that we get him back in some capacity. And I want him back more than I want Andrew and Toby combined. I don't care. I want to see him. Don't get me wrong, but I want Charlie Cox back more than I want to see the other two Spider-Men. Because they've had their heyday. They've had their heyday.
To that put a poll, would you rather see Charlie Cox back or?
Oh, dude, everyone's gonna say Spider-Man. I'll be alone on that deal.
Me too. Charlie Cox.
Because it's like, what we got 3 Tobey Maguire movies. That was 14 years ago that the last one came out. It's been 7 years since Amazing Spider-Man 2. We've had how many? Okay, Civil War, Homecoming, Far From Home, Infinity War, Endgame. And then now No Way Home. That is 5 appearances by 6 appearances by the end of this year by Tom Holland in the MCU. That is literally more appearances than the other 2 franchises combined.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't need to go backwards. I'm not against going backwards if it's done well. But at the same time, I would much rather there be, a move forward, to be honest with you. So
I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm definitely excited to know that they're coming back. I don't think they're ever gonna like come back fully, right? I think it's just gonna be for this film, but definitely, yeah. If I had to choose Charlie, because there's a lot more story to be done with him, and a lot more to be done with that. Character.
Wait, the Red Notice trailer just dropped?
It just dropped 5 minutes ago.
Holy shit. All right, hold on here.
Nice.
Well,
another 2 a.m. trailer drop, just like Eternals.
That is so weird. I'm looking for it's not even up.
It's on Twitter. I know it's on Twitter. I just don't know if it's on
Netflix
YouTube yet.
Twitter.
Yeah. I just retweeted it, so.
Okay, well, why the fuck isn't it on
YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah. That's weird. Let's see, Netflix. They do not have it up on their okay. Why the hell did that thing just drop? All right, let's RJ, why aren't I seeing it? Oh, there we go. All right, it is okay. Let's react to that real quick, and then we'll get to some other stuff right before wrapping it up.
All right,
because this is totally thrown off everything else I was trying to.
Right? Yeah. Surprise!
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this today.
Yeah, surprise, bitch.
Threw off the reactors, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. I know Grace Randolph right now. I was like, I have to get away. She just knows. All right, I can't guarantee the quality because it's Twitter.
It is Twitter, man.
So let's see how this thing plays out.
Special Agent John Hartley, FBI. Been tracking your scores for a while now. Every city, every heist. Now that you've been tagged with red notices, you've become the world's most wanted criminals. And I'm the only one who can bring you in.
Where'd you get that jacket? It's a statement piece. Somewhere there's a very nude cow whispering, worth it.
Looking for something specific or just browsing?
You're under arrest.
Oh my God. Read the room.
You want to arrest me? Arrest me.
I just want the egg.
Damn.
Let me catch her, and I will help you.
Teamwork.
Direct, you know we get there.
Team. It feels weird in my mouth.
Hello, boys.
Oh, what the hell?
Partner in crime.
We're work wives. We're not work wives.
Sister wives.
We're not any kind of wives. We both know that this whole thing is going to end with you in handcuffs.
Promises.
Oh my god.
Bye-bye, Agent John Hartley.
Wow.
All right,
That's so fascinating. Gal
I'm
Gadot's the
actually
villain.
interested.
Gal
That's
Gadot's
really
the
good.
villain. That's interesting.
We'll look at Fourth 1000. Streaming movie. I think
no,
the exact opposite.
that's coming to theaters, man. That's coming to
It
theaters.
says Netflix.
It says Netflix right now, but the thing is, they signed a deal with Cinemark after Army of the Dead. They're gonna. Are you telling me, dude? That movie, they're gonna drop that shit in theaters. That movie needs to be seen in theaters.
That and Army of the Dead feel more like theater movies than some of the movies that have been coming out. You know, they've held on for so long since the pandemic. They're like fun theater movies. Like not anything that's gonna, knock your socks off, but it looks like fun. Like that looks like a big box office movie if it was just theaters.
That's
it looks like
I've been in
the budget's like
Johnson movie in a while.
Yeah, the budget's like 800, like not 800, like 185 million or something like that.
Those three together, Dwayne.
That's a good pairing.
Yeah, that's a
good.
Yeah, and it looks like, and I have to fully admit, like the chemistry that you see felt very kind of Hobbs and Shaw-y, but I like the chemistry of Hobbs and Shaw. So, but it also kind of gave me Maverick vibes. If you guys ever saw the old Mel Gibson movie Maverick with Jodie Foster,
Kurt Russell,
not Kurt Russell, James Gardner.
Okay, yep.
So it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's a fucking phenomenal movie, but it felt kind of like, it really did feel like that was kind of more of like a Maverick vibe to it, which is great because I love Maverick, and rest in peace, Dick Donner. So yeah, I give Rock a lot of crap. Obviously, that looks fun. I will fully admit that looks like a lot of fun.
And even Gal Gadot. I mean, it's interesting again seeing her play a villain in this. Like
that was fun. I'm gonna head out so I get some sleep for tomorrow. I was just excited. I wanted to share. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. All right, see you later, Max. Mad Max, the Mandalorian, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that looked like a blast. I'm very excited to see what that
looks like. Fun.
Well, I think what they're gonna like, that's the kind of the thing though, is like they are gonna put that in theaters. Like I'm for that's going to theaters, 100%. Because not only do you have the star power of The Rock, I said star, not movie star, just to clarify, Ryan Reynolds, and he's doing Ryan Reynolds stuff, but it feels like funnier. Whereas it feels like there's quips there, but like he has someone who's more of a straight man to bounce off of.
Right.
And that's something that I feel like gets a little bit lost sometimes with Ryan Reynolds. He needs a really good straight man to bounce off of. And like that whole line about, we're work wives. We're not work wives. Okay, we're sister wives. Like that was pretty funny. And then just like the whole fight scene with the egg and all that kind of shit. Like there's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of really good things with that movie that I was curious because again, it is a streaming movie. But Netflix is clearly trying to branch out into theatrical. I think they're going to come ahead out of the pandemic, if you want my honest opinion, because they've already got the built-in audience for the streaming. They've got it doesn't matter to them. Theatrical is just bonus money. Yep. It really is. Theatrical is bonus.
And they'll be the first streaming service to get Leonardo DiCaprio and some of these other guys on.
I mean, you got Spielberg, right? The Christopher Nolan is in talks, and it's always funny when people try telling me like that Netflix is dead or something. Like, dude, they're funding a lot of these projects. Like Rawson Thurber Marshall, the guy who wrote and directed Red Notice, like his first, he did fucking Dodgeball back in like 2006.
Yeah, didn't he also do Central Intelligence?
Yeah, I didn't like that movie too much, but he did do We're the Millers with Jason Sudeikis, and that movie is fucking hysterical. So, but then he also did Skyscraper.
Oh, he did Skyscraper. Oh, that's not good.
Didn't he do San Andreas too?
Yeah, he did. He did do San Andreas. So he has a good working relationship.
He directs a lot of Rock movies.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Christopher McQuarrie with Tom Cruise. You get a good working relationship with them, and you can build up from there. And I think like Red Notice, like the trailer was very well edited. It was very well put together. And it was stylish. It was stylized. It had a lot of set pieces to it. It looks like a bit of a globetrotting adventure. Yep. And it feels like that was the thing I didn't care for with Six Underground, the Michael Bay movie for Netflix, because it was cynical. It was too cynical. And there wasn't a lot of fun. It was just like, it was cynical Michael Bay. It was like, think of like how serious Bad Boys 2 took itself, but it didn't have the humor that Will Smith brought to the table, because Ryan Reynolds didn't really have a good person to bounce off of. He was the leader of the group, which was not the right move. He should never be the leader in an ensemble. He should be the supporting, because if you have a hardcore stoic boss, he can then bounce off the Think about like the opening of X-Men Origins Wolverine, right? Like he was a supporting character, but his shit was memorable because he had a lot of great lines. And he could bounce off of Wolverine and Stryker and all the other guys. So there was a lot there. That's kind of his wheelhouse for where there's success. And it's one of the reasons why as much as I love Ryan Reynolds, the only real role where he's done well as a leading man has been Deadpool, because the audience is who can bounce off of what he says because of the fourth wall breaking.
I agree. I mean, I think Free Guy was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I haven't seen Free Guy yet. So
he did do well with
Okay.
that. And I think but the added element of that is the like kind of romantic comedy, thing. I think he does well with those. And I think that was a big reason why, because that's the person he's able to bounce off of in the movies, the chick. And so I would think Free Guy is probably his next best and his next big, leading man franchise.
I can see that.
So yeah, it's gonna be very fascinating to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to more breakdowns as we get closer. November 12th, isn't that also that comes out the week after Eternals, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Eternals is November 5th.
That is why Sony pushed Ghostbusters back.
That would make a lot of sense, actually.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Sony dropped it, I think, because I think they moved it back because there was an opening, and they don't want to go up against a streaming movie like Red Notice.
Yeah,
because that will keep people at home. I mean, if they have to,
especially if the movie's good.
If it's good, and the three, Gal, Ryan, and The
it's
Rock,
gonna be
that's
a
big
huge
thing.
movie for Netflix. Huge.
Yeah. I'd say their biggest of the year, from my honest opinion, and they have a lot coming out this year.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where like I've honestly just considered like making a schedule this like starting this month and then just like reviewing pretty much only Netflix stuff, because it's just consistent. It's every week there's something new. Every week, whether it's a show.
But not all of it's good though. It's like,
well, that's the problem. Not all of it's good, but then again, not everything on Disney Plus is all good. Not everything on Hulu is good, or Apple TV or whatever.
I know. It just seems like Netflix has a lot of pump and dump content.
Well, they do a lot of pump and dump on, but they have a lot of their original movies. Like this year, they're doing an original movie every week. And then they do things like the Kissing Booth #3. Or like To All the Boys I Loved Before, the third one of that franchise.
Was it He's All That or whatever?
They just did He's All That, which apparently is garbage, but I do want to see it because I was a teenager when She's All That came out. I was 17. No, I wasn't even 17 yet when She's All That came out. It came out early 99. So it's like I saw that when I was just a teenager. So here it is all these years later, and I want to see Rachel Lee Cook back in that. I kind of want to see what they do with it, even though I'm not necessarily the most for it, just because I feel like the concept is kind of dumb. I'll check it out. So it is that. Let us quickly get to some super chats here. Melissa Lord with another $2. Thank you so much. Says Amelin DCEU is the same as Cox and MCU. DC dropped the ball. Who's Amelin? You know who that is?
No clue.
I don't know who Amelin is.
I'm very confused.
Yeah. Is it an actor?
Maybe Amelin.
I don't know.
Oh, Amell. Stephen Amell.
Amell. Stephen Amell. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Stephen Amell make it up to the big leagues, to be honest with you. I think him and Grant Gustin would do fine with their own film franchises.
Though, because initially, because I remember when those CW shows first started, Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell, especially the first 2 seasons, everyone was like, they should connect to the movies. This is so good. And like at the time, I would have said, yeah. And then the shows took a dip in quality, and then
Then they kept making them.
Yeah, but I understand the sentiment. It's like they honestly, if DC was smart back then, they would have made all their TV shows connect. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing is they didn't, and we are where we are. So let's see. Okay, Benson here with £5. Thank you, buddy. With the new title for Spider-Man universe, do you think it's another sign Sony are breaking away? I think the 25% cut to Marvel is reason. They're not breaking away, man. They're not. The deal is going to be to connect the Sony movies to the MCU. That is going to be the deal. And that's the wisest move for Sony. They don't have to pay anything out to Marvel for that, because that goes back to the trading of the deal back in 2011. Was that they made that straight trade for merchandising rights. Sony traded merchandising rights for Spider-Man back to Marvel in order for them to not pay the licensing fee for these movies. So, or at least Spider-Man, but it might have actually carried over to everything else as well. So it's in Sony's best interest to pay the 25%, because then they can still keep playing in the same ballpark. That is the entry fee. That is what it costs to have a seat at the table. And you know what? It's worth it, because not only that 25%, also Marvel puts up 25% of the budget. So Marvel puts up part of the money for the budget, which saves Sony money in the long run.
Yep.
so they can put that 25% if they want into print and advertising to put it out to more people. And at the end of the day, they're still saving fucking money and they're still making fucking money. So no, it's 1 billion times or 1 billion% in their best interest to
stay with Marvel.
To stay in with that. We talked about it last night quite a bit too. Andrew here with $5, man. Thank you. You've been on fire tonight, Andrew, by the way. Thank you so much, man.
Andrew's been very
You're throwing in
generous
tonight. You are in it, and I appreciate you. What if Matt Murdock shows up, but only to litigate a personal injury suit that doesn't really mesh with the rest of the plot in any way? I don't think it matters how he appears.
Right. If he
I think it just, just that he's there. And if he's there, then that's what people want. Like, just to go, he exists in this world, that opens the door.
Yep.
And so, and then again, it's like, it kind of seems like he's going to be in it 100% here. All right. Let me just kind of make sure I'm caught up on all the soups, because we're okay. There's one more here to get to. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Duncan, Monsters at Work as a God. I haven't seen this new episode, so I don't.
It's the finale this week, actually.
Is it the finale? Was today the finale?
Today was the finale.
They only did 9 episodes.
10.
Oh right, they did 2 at first. That's right, man. I really like Monsters at Work. We put it on as like a way to calm the kids down, but I just totally forgot about it today.
I saw the first 2 episodes, but I just had to wait for it to finish up to watch the rest. But I thought it was interesting. Definitely thought it was.
I like it. I like it quite a bit myself. So okay, let's start. Let's see. We're gonna do the sodas thing here that Command Unit asked to take a look at. It's short, and then we'll do the No Time to Die trailer, and then we'll wind it, and then we'll exit out. So this has been a long episode. We covered a lot, which is good, but the timestamps are going to be a bitch to get to. So there's that. Anyway, it's all good.
Time for some 40K.
Sorry. I think that kid's gonna die.
I know, this is very depressing.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, after watching Red Notice, like, yeah, let's 40K, and then it's like this somber.
It's very well handled though. It's very emotional and definitely some work and put into this.
Soda's not. I like the Soda's ones the best. I feel like they have the most story to them. Aw. Wholesome 40K. Yeah, that's pretty wholesome right there. I mean, that guy's got some holes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In him.
Oh, okay, and then he became a soldier as he got older.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, all right.
It's a cycle, man. It's a cycle of violence.
It's a cycle. Yeah. Don't you know that Warhammer 40K is really commentary on how war is bad?
That's true.
War never changes.
I asked Ron Perlman once. I was at the Spike Scream Awards back in 2008. Fallout 3 had just come out.
Ooh.
And he was there for Hellboy 2. And he was walking down the red carpet, and I asked him if he could say "War never," if he could do the line, and he just looks at me and goes, "No." and I go like, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like really sad. It kind of caught me off guard, and he kind of looked at me and he went, "No, they just don't want me to." And I'm like, "I get that. Thank you, though."
Right.
So it's
really? They don't let you say a line like that in
so
public?
that's what he told me. And I have no idea if it's true or not, but like clearly he could tell that I was not happy with the answer given. I was very much wanting to have him just say war never changes, and then be like, yeah, and then no. That just didn't fucking happen. Because clearly it gets me. HBart's here with $2 says dose of dose. Thank you. Mo Moon here says, Matt, will I ever get the apology that I'm owed? No.
No.
No. But thank you for the super chat and the membership.
And thank you, Commanion, for the wholesome 40K.
Wholesome 40K, yeah. So all right, let's finish the show out tonight with showing popping RJ's cherry on the
let me see this because this will be fresh for me. I've not seen this yet.
This is where it's at, man. This is where it's at. So this shit looks pretty golden.
Bond, any thug can kill. I have to know I can trust you.
Hold on.
Well, I understand double O's have a very short life expectancy.
You're a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr. Bond.
I love the callbacks to the previous movies for sure.
Is this really what you want? Always alone?
Jesus.
We used to be able to get into a room with the enemy. And now they're just floating in the ether.
When her secret finds its way out, it'll be the death of you.
Oh my God. Target enough people.
Remember, people become the weapon.
Who is he?
James, you don't know what this is.
James Bond. Licensed to kill. In love with Madeline Swan. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. And life is all about leaving something behind. Isn't it?
Come on, he does have a kid.
Where the hell are you?
Yep. What?
The bulletproof Aston Martin.
Yes, I love that.
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's so sick.
Oh.
If we don't do this, there will be nothing left to save.
I have to finish this. You ever flown artist?
Nope.
Oh, what the hell? Wow. Nothing?
Yeah, I will definitely pay the money to watch that shit in IMAX.
Oh,
yeah, that looks pretty good.
Oh,
I love the Secret Island thing, Like,
well,
going
that's
back to the classic
that's like
Bond
the
stuff.
Doctor. Yeah, that's like the Doctor No.
Yep.
So is this villain going to be connected to like some classic villain that we don't know about?
It's probably Doctor No. It's probably something like Doctor No. Just like they tried saying that Blofeld wasn't Blofeld, and we all figured out it was Blofeld. That's probably going to be Doctor No, or it's going to set up the next. It's going to set up the next little bit. I don't quite know yet. What I do find to be fascinating though is that what is this? Commander here says it's too Dark Knight for me. I mean, okay, but it looks, I don't know. The cinematography looks great. Action looks top notch. Looks intense as all hell. I'm dying in. Now, what's so funny though is there was, okay, so the whole thing I mentioned there about the legacy, right?
Yeah.
There was a rumor that came out last year about how Bond and Swan, because this takes place 5 years after the events of Spectre, right?
Yep.
So they've got apparently a kid. That's the rumor, that they've got a kid. Now, and the kid's going to be used as leverage, as always is a case in these particular situations.
Oh, so Bond's going to have a kid.
Yeah, Bond's going to have a kid. And that was something that when it came out, like Mr. H Reviews was all like, oh, Bond is woke because Bond has a kid. Like,
Well, also because the black lady takes over the 007.
No. That whole argument with that, no, this was beyond Lashana Lynch. This was flat out about having a kid. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid, dude? Like, this is a 4chan rumor,
like,
I think.
Demasculating him. He's a family man now.
What?
He got injected with soy. That's probably what they were saying.
Yeah, it's like Bond doesn't have kids. No, Bond eventually, like, Bond probably has a lot of kids, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right. You know, he doesn't really strike me as the kind of guy who exercises the pull out.
Well, if he has a kid, that
Bond,
breaks my theory.
that guy. He got a kid in each country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kid in each country.
So he's like a pilot. He's got a kid in every city. Yeah, no, that's kind of the whole thing though, is just
that breaks my theory, because I thought the idea maybe is at the end of No Time to Die, maybe James Bond dies. You know, I think he have the character right off. Like, this is the last movie. So
yeah, I think he is going to die, but he's going to die like protecting his kid, essentially. Right. I think they might Logan end him on that one, and that might piss some people off. Like, why they can't kill off James Bond? Like, bitch, they're going to fucking reboot him in a couple years anyway. Like, this movie's already like a year and a half past when it was supposed to come out. So like, they're already probably like balls deep in trying to find somebody else, which is why I think that Henry Cavill, that Argyle announcement is to take him off the chessboard, you know, or off the playing board, because I think they wanted to get him. Because there was
I honestly think they're going to cast an unknown.
Well, I've heard honestly, like Tom Hiddleston was in that was something that was tossed around. So hold on. Adam Burke here says he won't die. Danny Boyle wasn't allowed to kill him off. All right. I mean, something's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, the Bond estate people were probably gonna be like, no, don't kill him off. That breaks our contract or whatever. That could be it too.
It could be, or they could clone him. Who knows? And then Benson here says, where was Hervé? I cannot even pronounce that word.
Villechase?
Villechase? I don't know. I don't know.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen Doctor No. So I don't know if they're going to kill him off or not, but I do think he's going to have a kid. I think that's going to be a thing. And I'm totally okay with that. Like, I don't know why having, like, you know, for these people who argue for like trad conservative values all the time, like, you know, a man who's healthy to get married and to enter into a long-term heteronormative relationship and to provide offspring, it's somehow considered woke now. It just goes to show you that they never care, and that the pendulum has gone back. So far, we're going back to the fucking Stone Age at this point. It's just, we are on a rocket ship to Mars, but just heading right back to the Stone Age.
Yep.
That was my weird connection to a Queen song. Okay. He's the little guy from Fantasy Island. Oh, okay. I never watched Fantasy Island.
Neither did I.
But that's Tattoo. The plane, boss, the plane. That's the guy. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Is that the actor's name? I don't know.
Probably. It's probably
the characters,
hold on here. Slick Rick says something. Shang-Chi's coming out, but there's no parade for Marvel propping up the Asian community like it did with Black Panther. It's a different time now. Okay, so I will end it with this right here, because I think this is kind of a fascinating thing that he's saying. I've been wondering if there's going to be a blowback against Shang-Chi at all because of the Asian actors and the COVID. And I say that not because I agree with it in any stretch of the imagination, but there are people out there that we have noticed there's been a rise of Asian hate because of this. You know, it's like the Kung flu, you know, like the China virus. Man,
that was an aspect I really wasn't even thinking about. But when you bring it up, it's like, that is fascinating to examine.
Yeah. Are people going to ignore this movie? Not because it's Marvel, but because, you know, potentially because they don't want to support anything that they deem to be from China.
Right.
You know, and that, because again, 630,000 Americans have died from COVID. Cases are on the rise. The Delta variant is here. People are dying daily again. I think we're back up to 1,000 deaths a day or something nationwide. You know what? That's something that I've been thinking about. And I think it's ridiculous, to be honest with you, because this is just because the actors are of Asian descent. This movie is not it's not a China production. And even if it was, that's not their fucking fault. You know, it's not their fault that this shit happened. I mean, you know, like people out there, but they want to find anything they can to explain anything, and they'll try to push those narratives.
Or you know what? Maybe this movie begins the healing process. It's the 1-2 punch to really like combat the Asian hate and really like. Well, I think the Marvel brand too is just so strong at this point. You know, it doesn't really matter in a way.
I don't know. I mean, but it's like, but what I'm talking about are people from the specific types of communities that would push that level of nonsense as a way to
take a stand against China.
Well, not so much take a stand against China, but to explain why the movie didn't perform as well. Because remember, they always grasp at straws, trying to figure out why. The Rotten Tomato score for the movie is pretty high. Never mind the fact
that, for God's sakes, you have people like Nerdrotic like saying that Simu Liu looks like Xi Jinping. Like, come on.
Yeah, well, and then also the way he pronounced the name was very very telling. So yeah, no, look, the thing is, those people, they hide behind opinions, but those opinions are generally pretty discriminatory and bigoted. So there you go on that one. And if given the opportunity, I would absolutely 100% say it to their face, in person, no less. If we ever end up at Comic-Con together, I'd have no problem saying it, because at that point, motherfucker, you're in my city. All right. H-Bart's here. I'm not even kidding you. I know everyone in San Diego. Like, no, I'm not even, like, you can ask my brother. Like, my brother, every time we would go out when I was in San Diego, even after I moved out, we would run into someone that I knew every time we went out somewhere. And he's like, he would just go every time. He's like, you know everybody. I'm like, yeah, I got around. San Diego as like a community is big, but it's also very small. People know everybody. You get around, you get to know people from different groups. There was a stripper I knew. I mean, I knew a lot, but there was this one in particular who I first met her in Coronado Island with one group of friends. Then I went to another friend of mine, completely unrelated, going away party a couple of years later. And she was at that going away party, and she knew my friends there, completely unrelated group. Then I ended up dating a stripper, and she knew that stripper, but they worked at different clubs. Right. And I didn't know that they knew each other when her and I started dating each other. So it's like, again, I've known her, and then her and I went on like one date once, and it was kind of awkward. But you know, it was like, again, a lot of, you know, people know everybody. It's like, there's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in San Diego. Right. And that's the thing. That's the reality of it, man. You know, like that is how I rolled in SD. So I could literally anywhere I'd run into someone that I knew.
That's pretty sick.
Hell yeah. I'll tell you the coolest story on this one though. Have you ever heard of the band Foxborough Hot Tubs?
No.
Foxborough Hot Tub is Green Day. It is their surfer punk band. Green Day. It literally is Green Day, but it's a surfer punk band. And in 2008, they were touring. They went to San Diego. They were playing smaller clubs. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't know that they were Green Day. They knew, like, they'd heard, you know, but those people who knew that they were Green Day really wanted to go and see them. Right. So my friend and I decided to go out to the club. The club only had it was only sized for like 400 people.
Yeah.
And when they were announcing that it was Foxborough Hot Tubs and it was going to end up being like, people really started realizing this was Green Day, and they had just performed a couple years earlier. They did the American Idiot tour. And that was massive. I mean, that was a great show. Yeah. And so my friend and I went there, and we got there a little late, and like the line was fucking long, just super long. And we're walking on up, and I'm like, fuck. Cause my friend's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I should have got us here earlier. I'm like, that's, you know. And so I just said, you know what? I probably know somebody in line. And he goes, I was just thinking the exact same thing. And I'm not kidding you, like not even 30 seconds later, I come across this girl, Danielle, I went to film school with. And she's there with her friends who I don't even know. And I'm like, Danielle, what's up? Yeah. What up, girl? Long time. How you doing? Because we graduated the year beforehand. I hadn't seen her, like, you know, in a long time. And she's like, oh, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm doing really good. Fuck yeah. Like, let's chat. So, you know what? I start talking with her as I do. And I start hanging, I'm talking to her friends. And then like, Mark and I kind of like, ingratiate ourselves, right? Like in this group. Now, the thing is, when you're in a situation like that and you're cutting in line, people behind you are going to get pissed off, right?
Yes. Yep.
So what you do is you include them in the conversation. So they feel like they're part of the group. You expand the group. So what I started to do, because I'm really good at being the center of attention, is I started talking with the people in front and the people behind, and I would get them in on the convo.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the group, like after about 20 minutes, we were fully part of the group. No one ever questioned why we were there. We hung out. We dropped our $20 each. We got in. We saw Foxborough hot tubs. We got it. Like we're literally like 10 feet away from fucking Green Day. Of course, they played no Green Day songs because they weren't going to.
Right.
But it was still really cool nonetheless. And we ended up just I ended up just kind of like sauntering my way in, and then getting to go to this show that I really wanted to go to. So that's the whole point, is like, it's good to know people. And in San Diego, I fucking knew people. So, so yeah,
that's so cool. I didn't even know that they Green Day. I mean, the Green Day had that, and you were able to.
Yeah, it's a long time. I don't even know if it's still like, I don't even know if it's still active or not. But you can look up some of their music on YouTube. It's totally surfer. It's like surfer stuff. What? It's like a lot. It was them and like other bandmates. So it was like more instruments. Kind of like it was like surfer punk. So it was just a little different. And they went on the tour. It was a lot of fun. Real quick here, H-Bars does say, what if the next Bond is Bond Jr.? Oh, you mean that terrible animated show? Probably not. Probably not. But it could be. It could be. Andrew here also saying, what if Boyle had Bond steal the Death Star plans, requiring his character to die at the end because it was a film about Cyberpunk?
It's all about the multiverse, man.
It's all about
It all goes back to the
the
multiverse.
multiverse. That's just, oh wow, that's really, really, really funny. Benson there says Matt always has an X-rated story. It's not X-rated. I talked about strippers, but he didn't mention anything about what went on. Like I didn't do it either. All right. I think that is everything. We're caught up on all the super chats. You guys, wonderful this evening. Thank you all so much. The show definitely ran a little longer than I wanted to, but it always happens. I always say that. All right, we will. Okay, no. Oh, Daytrace here says, what if his kid is the next Bond? I could, down the road, that could be a thing.
Possible. I think if they do the next Bond, though, they're going to want to separate it, just be like a full-blown reboot. Move as far away from the Craig stuff as possible. Because I think you got to get away from the grounded realism. I think the next Bond's going to be a little more campy.
I think we're going to go like, I mean, I'm hoping it's like, not Die Another Day.
Yeah, okay? Not super campy that it's bad. Like, it's really not fun to watch. But.
And I understand why Die Another Day went and did what it did. And I don't hate the movie by any stretch of the imagination, not one bit. But it's like, I prefer the more like grounded takes.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, again, look at Kingsman: The Secret Service. People really liked Kingsman. There wasn't a lot of love for The Golden Circle because it was just kind of tonally different. And that's because that was.
Well, and also argue they didn't handle some story elements.
Well, there were some deaths in that movie that I felt were kind of dumb. But I get it. But at the end of the day, it was also more aimed at expanding the universe a little bit, and it was also aimed at the more
expand the universe by killing off beloved characters. Makes great sense.
Well, I think Matthew Vaughn realized that, which is why I think he's with Kingsman looks great, and then Kingsman 3 is going to be also something we're checking out. So okay, Benson here says Wayne T. Carr is the next. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's the last thing I want to say tonight that I totally spaced on earlier, and I do apologize, is it is Anthony Chabot's 38th birthday. So happy birthday, Anthony Chabot. Have a great day. Get some VHS tapes and hang out with your family.
Yeah, happy birthday, Anthony.
So thank you very much. Happy
birthday to King Tony.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I wait. No, we can legally sing happy birthday because it's not copyrighted anymore.
Oh.
So let's not do that because my voice is very dry. But anyway, happy birthday. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Hopefully I'll have seen Shang-Chi by the time we go live. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on my day. I'm going to try. Every day is a little bit crazy. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you all very much.